And we're live. Oh goddamn. All right. So I don't know why I'm doing this. I'm partially drunk. I had to drink to ease the pain. I said, "Fuck it, we'll do a Sly Cooper stream because fuck it, why not? Why not? We'll do a Sly Cooper stream." Um,
Hell yeah.
yeah. So I wanted. So sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, nothing, Bentley. I was just saying, hell yeah, I'm down for that.
Okay. First of all, don't fucking call me Bitly ever again. If you value our friendship, don't call me Bitly ever again.
Okay, let's make a little joke. I will respect your friendship. I will respect you.
I'm just fucking with you guys. Hang on. Okay, let me put all those there. Let's do the no crop. Choose files. Nah, great. Okay. Plus my Bentley voice isn't that great. Also,
It's pretty spot on, actually.
this is my normal voice.
Wow, you're a pro.
Uh, you know what? You know what, asshole? You know. And I can't fix it, so Doctor M just gonna be on there twice because fuck it.
All right.
Usually I like. Maybe Edgy. Like, he's probably not gonna come in, but maybe Edgy will come in. He's a big Sly fan too. I don't know. Let
Nice.
me go share this with everybody real quick.
Yeah, totally.
We mentioned Sly a lot on our streams. What the fuck? Yeah, it's fucking crazy. Oh, god damn it! All right. So, yeah, I think people sleep on a lot of. I think people personally sleep on Sly Cooper villains. Personally, I just feel that way. Um, and I think maybe, maybe they get the due respect they deserve. You know, hang on one second. Let me see here. Yeah, we're so like yeah. I think Sly has like Sly has one of the most is most misunderstood like fucking game series ever. Like I genuinely think that. I really
Oh,
think so cuz like people like to like cuz like whenever you think of like Sly Cooper you think, "Oh, it's a funny raccoon game." And yeah, it is. It is a funny raccoon game with the sexy fox lady. That really is part of it. But like when you look at the other games that came out at the time, like fucking no disrespect to like Jack and Daxter, and I don't know, like maybe Ratchet and Clank. Those were games were good in their own right, but I still stand by this. I think Sly had a stronger story. I think
absolutely.
the story with the talking raccoon had a stronger story.
Absolutely. It unironically has one of the best and most thought out, well crafted stories I think I'll ever experience in a game. And I'm not sure if you ever saw him, but there's this YouTuber named B-Mask who actually did this Sly retrospective series on it, where he actually got to do some interviews and talk to the actual people on board of Sucker Punch. And like the amount of detail in those games is fucking crazy. I'm being dead serious when I say it actually gave me a whole new perspective on those games because I already became a fan of it ever since I played the games. But ever since I watched BMAS video, it literally just opened my eyes and made me think, holy shit, this literally changes my entire understanding of just the characters, the settings, everything. Everything is peak storytelling material down to the bone.
I mean, like, and a big reason for that, people, I don't know if people knew this or not, but like, they were heavily inspired by Batman. Sly Cooper has a lot of Batman influences, not just in like, not just narratively, because it is about basically about like, oh, a guy going up against the rogues gallery to essentially avenge their dead parents.
I
Again,
was
very
just
similar to Batman, but the silhouettes, the dark style, there's a lot of gothic imagery in Sly Cooper. Shockingly, there's a lot of gothic imagery in there. Um, and yeah, a lot of it does seem like, yeah, it's very inspired by Batman, very Batman-esque.
that
Um,
actually, not to interrupt you, Slim, but that was actually another detail about the BMask video I was telling you about is apparently a few of the people that worked on those games actually had some comic book backgrounds, so they already just leaned into that as well because they're like, fuck it, we're already passionate enough about it and we already work in that material, so why not just lean more into it?
Gaming with Power played all the 3 games, but never played 4. Well, you're that's probably for the best.
Yeah, trust me, man.
Um,
You're off
again,
the game. Do not play it.
I mean, like, it's an okay it's an okay Sly Cooper game, like from a gameplay perspective, but from a narrative perspective, it's not,
It's dog.
it's not the
The
best.
writing is dog shit. I could not understate that enough. The writing is pure garbage.
I wouldn't call it garbage. I would say, like, let me put it this way. Like, here's the thing. These guys clearly played the games, to be fair. They clearly played the games preparing to make their own. Senzori
Yeah.
did play the other games. I just think there's some parts they misunderstood of what makes Sly, unique. And like
Oh,
you even said like, oh, they had like a heavy comic book background, Sucker Punch the developers. Well, you can tell that because like unlike the other games that were like showing like like again, this is like the PS2 era. So like you were getting like this, you were getting solid cutscenes. You were getting like borderline movie level cutscenes, and they still decided to do it in like this comic book style. Like this
yeah.
comic book, like this, yeah, like comic book page turner style. I remember when I got Sly 3, they had like a little built-in comic book that came with it, and it was a lot
Mm-hmm.
of fun to read. And yeah, so they like definitely dipped heavy deeper into that one. And off subject, but did you guys see the Xbox showcase? Ah, I saw bits of it. There's like 1 or 2 things that looked somewhat interesting, but nothing really caught my eye.
I, I was looking
My
forward.
back, my fucking back.
Oh, Slim's back is carrying this whole conversation. Let me take the weight off of you for a second. To kind of dabble into the Xbox thing for just a split second, I was looking forward to the Perfect Dark game. I will say I'm a bit disappointed in it graphically because I feel like it's just leaning more into the realistic graphics aspect, which I mean, not to sound like a downer or anything, it does look good, but it just looks visually unappealing compared to the last 2 entries that game series had.
Yeah, I didn't play Perfect Dark as a kid, but like, yeah, I don't know. I just hate games that go like, oh, let's be uber realistic. Like, yeah, that just sounds boring. That just sounds really boring. I don't know, man. That sounds boring.
It is boring
Um, yeah,
yeah.
like we're getting to the point where like we're getting back to like FMV games where it's like, yeah, you might as well just make a fucking movie. You might as well just use
Exactly.
live action characters and like blend it into the gameplay. That like at least cut out the middleman. Don't overwork these fucking animators, bro. Like at least cut out the middleman at the very least. Jesus Christ.
I mean,
Yeah.
that
So
Remedy did exactly that. They would have the actual actor, their characters model after the actors, but they would have cutscenes in the game, like in a TV show fashion. So it's like real locations, real characters, and they would have the actual actors portraying that because they're like, why waste the money on making cutscenes of the actors in the in-game assets when you could just, film an actual fucking TV show with them, right?
Nutman, let's go. Okay, I'm not gonna do
Yo, we
that.
getting some nutting.
Yeah. Yeah, we got some nice nut, some good old nut in here. We need some nut in here.
Some good old nutrients.
It hurts to laugh too. That's great. That's lovely. Uh Jesus Christ. What did I do to piss off God the other day? I don't know. But yeah, and I'm kind of surprised they never did an insane trilogy style like Cooper. People have been asking for that for years. Like we've
Yeah.
asked that for years. We would love like all three games to like be remastered, like like complete graphical overhaul. And you know what? I'll even say this might be, I don't know how like controversial you are to this, Wolfman, but like I would love it if like Gray Delisle like redubbed all the voice lines for Carmelita. Like
Okay, now I see what
because
you were talking about right now. um, I
yeah,
will
like
and
I
don't hate Grail. I mean Gray. I don't hate her. I just don't. She's just in everything already, and I felt like part of the charm with the Sly series is you had, I guess, less super well known voice actors, but like the inclusion
oh
of
yeah,
Nolan North in
I totally
Grail,
get that.
right? And it's like no shade to Gray or God damn, I literally just said his name. Who the fuck did I just say his name? It was a Uncharted guy. I just said his name. Damn it.
Is either Nathan, say the Nathan Fillion or
Nolan North. Nolan
the
North,
other
that's
one,
right. No,
Nolan North.
no,
It's yeah.
no shade to Nolan North. I love both of those actors, but it's just they're already in so much as is. I feel like it just kind of takes me out of it. Personally, I would rehire Roxanne Ortega to voice Carmelita. I don't care what anyone says. I personally love her voice. It's just really charming. It has this unique blend to it. Unlike, because personally, I didn't like Alicia's or
She's from the first game, right? Roxanne
yeah,
Ortega's
that
from the
was actually
first
her
game.
very first voice acting role.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Like I understand what you're saying. I'm like one of the problems with like, because here's the thing. She was like, here's the thing. Carmelita's voice acting was only like, it's just personal opinion. Her voice acting was only good in the first game and the fourth game. I'm sorry. Like in the second game, she just like it was good. Like how to put this in the final cutscene where she's like telling Sly goodbye or whatever, she sounds fine. But like for some reason in the rest of the game, she sounds off. Like she's putting in half the effort for some reason. And in Sly 3, I don't know what they were doing in Sly 3 because her accent was all over the place. I don't think she knew how to do a Latino accent. It was all over the place.
It really was.
I just would
Like,
like I would like it if they were like consistent throughout the games. I get your point. Like I get it. Like oh, you know, you want to get like Great Lyle's great, but like she's kind of everywhere. I get it. Like you don't want you like it's like the Bayonetta thing. People were a little skeptical of her getting replaced because like you know that whole BS. Like yeah, it kind of makes sense. Don't get me wrong. Who replaced her was another like voice actress who's everywhere. For Bayonetta, like I forgot her name, but she's like everywhere voice acting. And people are like, oh,
yeah,
she's a fine voice actor, but she doesn't sound like Bayonetta. But like I
yeah,
think like the difference here is like with like here's the thing, like even when they were announced the movie, also rest in peace the Sly Cooper movie, not happening. Not
yeah,
happening. It's not happening. Sorry guys, it's not happening. But like they had enough forethought to actually get the actors from the game to play Sly, Bentley, and Murray because they're so iconic.
yeah.
Um, the thing is, like I said, I don't think anyone would care about Carmelita because again, we've never had a consistent voice for Carmelita. We've never had a consistent voice, so I don't think people would care as much. But I understand where you're coming from. I completely understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, totally. Gaming with Power actually brings up a really
Also,
good point.
Chris
Chris Pratt as
Chris
Carmelita.
Pratt is
That
Carmelita.
I'm
Yes.
down for.
Yeah. The Sly's voice in the original trilogy was really good. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's like his only like it's. I don't mean to sound like an asshole, but like it's like it's I guess like his only major role in voice acting. I think he's in some other stuff, but like I think that's like his only major role. Um, yeah, I love Sly's voice. Sly's voice, it's smooth, it sounds cool. I don't care. It's a lot, it's a lot of fun for Sly's voice. Chris
I,
Pratt is
I,
my mom. Yes, yes, Russell. Yes.
I um, There's actually a really cool fact about Kevin Miller is he was actually the voice director for the original game, and he got the part of Sly because he was helping so many other voice actors try to direct. It actually helped him to better understand the character, so that when he applied for it, he got the job easier. Which I thought was a really cool thing to know about. It's sort of like the stunt coordinator in Indiana Jones. You know, the guy that plays the Nazi in the truck chase scene in the first Indiana Jones film. It's kind of
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, or like where or like when the four kids cast did such a good job dubbing Sonic X. Sega hit them up and said, "Yeah, you guys want to like voice like the actual characters? You guys want to like voice the actual characters in the games?"
Exactly.
Uh, which I think is really cool. Yeah, I was like, "This is really cool." Like, yeah, you guys already proved you did a good job. And weirdly, well, not weirdly enough, but like the only one they kept is Mike Pollock. Which,
That
to
is
be
true.
fair, you're not replacing Mike Pollock. You're not replacing Mike Pollock.
Definitely.
Uh, Mike Pollock is Eggman. I'm sorry, he is Eggman. Like when he
Even
passes away, you're gonna have whoever's gonna take up that role has big shoes to fill. I'm sorry.
even Jim Carrey sounded like Mike Pollock in the film because even he was like, "Yeah, no, I have to sound like this guy, otherwise I'm not selling the deal."
Also, people said like for what was it when they do like Sonic 3 and they're gonna have like so they need to say who's gonna play Eggman's grandfather. People said like why not just get Mike Pollock to play? He's already an old dude. It'll be a nice little cameo. And I'm for that. Like yeah, have Mike Pollock play his grandfather. That'd be a nice cameo.
Hell
Um
yeah.
he could even do the same monologue and everything. That'd be great.
I
Um
yeah.
but yeah, the thing about it is you know, you got these really talented people. And again, you have like Jason Griffith, for example. He loves playing Sonic and Shadow. He loves it. He adores it. Like to
Mhm.
this day, Jason Griffith still goes to like comic conventions and everything. Sonic convention, like to this day, he still does that. And I'm like, yeah, the dude loves playing Shadow and Sonic. He loves playing the character. And to this day, I'm like, why did they said the reason they did it is because they wanted to move away from the voice cast? But I'm like, Sega, this guy loves playing Sonic, and everyone kind of agrees he's the best voice of Sonic the Hedgehog. Why
Yeah.
not just make him Sonic the Hedgehog? Why not keep him that way? Um, I didn't like who's Roger Craig Smith's take on Sonic.
Yeah, his
Uh, Mark
performance
Mark.
of mixed.
Eh. Like he's not a bad voice actor, far from it. He's done a lot of stuff that I like. But
Yeah.
like yeah, it just didn't work, man. You were fine in colors, but after that, nah. I'm sorry. Like you sound like a 20-something douchebag. I'm sorry. And I know that was probably the direction, but still. Mark Hamill as Eggman. That would actually be awesome. I would watch that. I would watch Mark Hamill as Eggman. That's actually a good choice.
Same.
Juichi Kanemaru is the Charles Mancogo with Sonic since he voiced him since Adventure 1. I'm starting to like his voice a lot. Yeah, the Japanese voice actor for Sonic is pretty good. He's pretty good. But anyway, we're here. Ah, crap. Okay. But anyway, yeah, it's solely depend. It's like voice acting can go a long way, especially in video games.
Absolutely.
Hang on one second. Come on, you dense fuck. Go fuck yourself. All right, well, Dr. M's just on here twice. I can't fix that. I'm not going to try to fix that. I don't care. I don't care enough to fix that. Yeah. So we're gonna be talking about the Sly Cooper villains, as well as Sly Cooper in general.
Hell yeah.
I don't know why. Again, I'm partially drunk to ease the pain of this fucking whatever the fuck the problem is with my back. I don't know how it got like this. I really don't. But yeah, we're ranking all the villains. I didn't bother making like a complex tier list. It's a very basic bitch tier list. Oh god damn my back! Fuck me! Fuck! Oh. Okay. Okay. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get an let's do an easy one out. Let's get an easy one out of the way. An easy S tier.
Yeah.
Let's just get Clockwork out of the way. We all know
Yeah.
where Clockwork is going. We
It's
don't have
not
to
even.
have a we like it's not even a competition. So Clockwork is S tier.
It's not even fair to put him among the
Like
rest. Like, what can you even say that hasn't already been said? The dude is an absolute monster, a literal different breed of animal from the rest. And on top of that, he's basically an eldritch abomination that shouldn't exist, but the very fact that he does is horrifying. Also, he made a fully functioning
yeah.
artificial heart 15,000 years ago. That's kind of fucked up.
Hang on. The levels of the Voodoo Croc was cool. How my favorite. Yeah. The
Yeah,
swamp bayou parts were pretty fun. They were pretty fun. Cause like the reason they were fun because like I think you unlocked Rail Slide at that point. That like made the game like a lot more fun.
yeah.
But yeah. Gosh, could you imagine like having all the like abilities you had in like Sly 1? Like keeping those like the game would be broken. The game would be broken. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Like, oh yeah, by the way, like he's like fighting fucking well, he's fighting Rajan, and he's like, how are you going to beat me, Cooper? Like, oh yeah, I can like literally control time. Fuck you. I can
yeah.
control time. Fuck you.
He's a time warping
And
raccoon. You can't top that. I'm sorry, you just can't.
In a while, Dubs. Hey, dude, how you doing? Thanks for popping in. This is a dead stream. I'm doing this because I'm in a lot of back pain and I'm kind of drunk. So I just decided to rank the Sly Cooper villains. I've seen a couple of your videos, dude. They're pretty fun. They're pretty fun. I like them. And your Bentley like impression's pretty good. Keep it up. You keep the fandom alive. You know, besides all the porn. But like that's besides the point. Thank you for keeping the fandom alive. We appreciate it. Uh I'm sorry. Okay, mood on the back. Yeah, it's like bad. Like I might have to call into work tomorrow. That's how bad it is. My god. One of the things I liked about Clockwork, like even as a kid, like how do I put this? Cuz this is something because this is how do I put when it comes to Clockwork, what made him interesting is unlike the other villains, because again, like we said, like Sly Cooper was heavily based off Batman. This didn't feel like a Batman villain. This felt like a different breed. Like, and I know that sounds crazy because again, this is a game with like anthropomorphic animals and shit. Also hot take. I'd also not hate on the corn. Yes. Yeah, it keeps. But like the thing about Clockwork that I always found interesting is like he's not really a Batman villain, and I think that's what makes it interesting. He's not a typical rogues in your rogues gallery. This is something like you said. It's kind of eldritch when you think about it, because
Hmm.
it is implied that Clockwork lived that long before he became metal. It's implied that like somewhere down the line he became metal, but like he literally lived that long because of how much he hated the goddamn Cooper. The man was literally too angry to fucking die. The man was literally he literally was too angry to die. And what makes it even more intriguing is he's like this dark shadow over the franchise, but at the end of the day, we know almost nothing about him. All we know is he just hates the Coopers. That's it. And honest to God, that's all you need.
Yeah,
Because
he's
like
one.
people were like, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No, it's fine. But yeah, like the what makes Clockwork such a fucking threat of a monster is just he is so fucking fuming with hatred and anger. You cannot fathom or even comprehend just the question of what the fuck drives someone to become that much of a monster that they turn themselves into a machine just to stalk a single family that they hate, a rival one no less. Because like that's not just simple jealousy,
Yeah.
something so fucked up to do to yourself. And then to the other one. Also, let's not forget, he also murdered Sly's parents, knowing Sly was there, just to prove a point that without Sly's family book, the Coopers were nothing. He murdered Sly's parents just to prove a point. Let's not forget that.
Yeah, and not only that, it's implied, but not outright stated. It's heavily implied he took down other Coopers too.
Yep.
It's implied that like when he took down other Coopers, like yeah, they had already passed the Thieves Raccoonus to somebody else, and he was like, I was right out of his grasp, and by the time he killed them, it was already gone. So like, the crazy thing about Clockwork is people kept saying like, what do you think the Cooper family did to like literally keep this man alive for thousands of years just to hunt them down? I'm like, I kind of don't want to know. That's one of the few things in the series I'm like, I don't really think I need to know. That makes it even like, because like at the end of the day, like he had such an impact. Because like it takes a real like, and I think people should take notes. Joker. When you kill off a villain, that doesn't mean that their impact is gone. It doesn't mean that their impact on the world of the characters is gone. Because remember, think about it. Because like at the end of Sly 2, say what you will about Sly 2 and how dumb Clockla was. God damn, that was stupid. But like, forget about how Sly 2 and how dumb Clockla was. At the end of the day, Clockwork is still responsible for crippling
Bentley.
Sly's best friend's legs permanently. Bentley is permanently paralyzed, permanently what's what I'm looking for? Handicapped for the rest of his life. And
Yep.
technically it's kind of Sly's fault.
Yeah.
And like that's a clock goes, in a while, dumb, stop. You will stop, you will cease. Stop. But yeah. And again, like you do the same thing in Sly 3 where it's revealed that, oh yeah, the reason that he found out about his parents is because Dr. M betrayed his father and told him where he could find Sly's dad or whatever. Um and again, that's technically Sly's dad's fault because it's implied that Sly's dad wasn't the most reasonable guy. He wasn't the greatest guy ever, at least from Dr. M's perspective.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, he casts this dark shadow over the entire franchise. And despite only being alive in the first game, we still talk about him. He's still like the biggest menace on this list. Like Sly couldn't beat him with normal means. He had to get like a jetpack with rocket launchers and shit to even take him
Yep.
down. And even then, he wasn't necessarily dead. So
He
yeah, I
he
gotta give it to Clockwork. The guy was a menace. There's no other word to call. There's no other word for him. The man is a
yeah.
menace. Yeah, it's just crazy. It's just crazy to me. And like one thing I will give Thieves in Time credit for all of its flaws. By the way, I like to imagine this tier list is complete with every villain is E tier or below. I mean,
wrong.
yeah. Like, where do you go from here? Like, he's just so good. He's such a
We
good villain.
It
Oh
is
my
literally
god.
just a downward slope from here with some bumps.
But yeah, like yeah, and also I'm about to say one thing I do like about Thieves in Time, for all the things he got wrong. At the end of the day, I do like how Clockwork was in the background if you look close enough, like as an Easter egg, showing that
Yeah.
even as you travel through time, Clockwork is still always watching. And I'm like, okay, I have a lot of problems with Thieves in Time, but that was a nice detail. Like you can't even interact with them or anything; you could just only
Yeah.
see them. So like at the end of the day, like he's still that looming threat. Again, out of everything they fucked up with Thieves in Time, that was a good detail to put in. That proved to me they played the other games, and I will give credit where credit is due.
Yeah.
Um, that was a nice detail. Okay. All right. What else we got here? Let's do. Let's see. let's do a character who's been in every Sly game. Let's do
Yeah.
Mugshot. Let's do
All right.
Mugshot. Mugshot, pretty
The junkyard dog.
pretty well known villain. Junkyard Dog. His origins are as follows. He was a beta male cuck, and he listened to Andrew Tate and became an alpha. He's the alpha dog now. And to this day, like I love Sly Cooper, how the fuck does light reflecting off mirrors damage your fucking guns, dude? What the fuck? I still want an answer to that. God damn it! How the fuck does that work? Like I genuinely to this day don't know.
Like, I understand that Mugshot cannot be beaten conventionally by just touching him, but come on, you couldn't have dropped like a chandelier on him or something? Like, that would have made more sense than just turning a mirror on him.
He's a chud. I can't believe I said that. Also, screw with the lore, considering he was somehow ancient and prehistoric. I'm not gonna think too. Like the whole prehistoric section doesn't make any goddamn sense. I'm not even gonna think about that.
You don't talk about the third chapter.
But yeah. Say again.
We don't talk about the third chapter in Thieves in Time in this household. Bob.
Yeah. Like, I kind of came up with a theory that at some point a Cooper ancestor, like one of Cooper's ancestors, like, because like to be fair, like even in the first game there were like cave paintings of like raccoons and shit. To be perfectly fair, so I'm assuming that one of his ancestors like saw the cave paintings and like put the pieces together, like, oh, this is the first Cooper. How did they get the exact time and date before Sly even did? I have no fucking clue. How did Sly coincidentally end up at the same time? Who cares? Anyway, back to Mugshot. I think Mugshot's fun. Mugshot is a classic, fun, recurring villain. There's really, like, yeah, he was a cuck. He was a beta male cuck. He listened to Andrew Tate. He watched The Godfather, which is called The Dogfather in this universe, which is pretty funny. There's a lot of subtle, like not subtle, but like there's a lot of animal puns in Sly Cooper, more than you'd think. But there are quite a few animal puns, and The Dogfather was a good one. So yeah, he grew up, beat the odds, and ran Mesa City.
He didn't just beat,
which is just Detroit.
His brothers too. Don't forget.
Wait, those are his brothers? I thought they were just some other kids. They picked on him.
No, those were his brothers. I think they in the intro they.
I mean, I know he said he was the run. I know he was like the run of the litter, but I thought it just meant he was the smallest of his friends or whatever.
No, those are definitely his brothers or something. Because like nothing that's personal from some nobodies. Those were definitely siblings.
I mean, considering how big this guy, and I also love, like I said, this is an underappreciated fact. I love that he like uses his arms to walk. This nigga literally just skipped leg day completely. He just uses his arms to walk. It's so good. Like, that's some goofy ass shit I love to hear. What about everything else I said? It wasn't just episode 3. It was a yeah, I know.
Smoke.
When did they say brother? We'll blow smoke.
I snort it. How dare you assume that's low?
Yeah. Also, we know that Mugshot loves his mother too, because Bentley once badmouthed his mom in Sly 2. No, wait, Sly 3. That's when he did that.
You're as more gentleman callers than the operator.
God damn.
It's so solid.
Yeah, there were a lot of adult jokes in Sly Cooper 2. Again, more than you probably realize. And that's what I love about it. What else? Mugshot, again, one of the recurring villains. He's also one of the few villains who's like, you know what, fuck this. I'm just gonna shoot the motherfucker. I'm not gonna do all this complicated bullshit. I'm just gonna shoot the motherfucker.
He's just right to the point. That's just the kind of guy he is.
Just got right to the point. Right to the point. Also, we know he won't beat up a guy in a wheelchair unless he makes fun of his mother. Then it's on. Like, you get these hands. You talk about mom, you get the hands. Yeah, he also apparently he gave up smoking in Sly 4. I don't know why. That's also a weird thing. Munching on a cigar, he gave it up. But yeah, it's cool to have a villain who's just like always there.
Yeah,
Who's been in almost every game. So for that, I'm gonna put him in A tier. I think he's a solid villain. He's fun. He's likable. Um, oh my guns, they're ruined. Again, how the fuck does sunlight ruin your guns? I don't know. Funny, I got this on the homepage. Just watched a friend of mine speedrun the first game. Oh, that's awesome.
nice.
I haven't played Sly Cooper in a long time. Mostly because I don't have a PlayStation. But man, I haven't played that game in a while. Uh, Again, all three were great. All three were great. Let me see.
Absolutely.
Is anyone else
Uh,
gonna reach S? Well, I think one other character is in the running for it, but like other than
I
that, I
do.
don't know, man. Let me see. Let's do a Thieves in Time villain. Let's do Toothpick, the only villain I kind of like. Toothpick. That's where we get to the problem with Thieves in Time. You can't really talk about the villains because they're all kind of boring. They're all kind of boring. Thieves in
So
Time, Toothpick.
uh, so with Thieves in Time's villains, I remember I think that the developers admit that they took a lot of inspiration from the previous game, so they created sort of like a mishmash for the new villains. But like in doing so, they just kind of made this really strong comparison that you have absolutely no choice but seeing anymore. Because like certain villains are literally just like discount other villains. Toothpick is definitely one of them, given that he comes off like a knockoff of Sir Raleigh the Frog. Probably a hot take and a half, but I don't like Toothpick, and I didn't like his boss fight because it just kind of looked like a 2.0 of Sir Raleigh, which wouldn't have been so bad had Toothpick not just blown up to like 3 times his size, because it doesn't make any sense to me. It's just I just can't help but think of Raleigh at that point. Not to mention his backstory,
So
like
like so randomly growing 3 sizes is fine isn't okay, but like again, sunlight destroying your guns, making them useless. That's perfectly okay logic to follow.
no. What I'm saying is, when Sir Raleigh did
uh
it, it's because he was a frog. He's an arm. This guy's an armadillo. Like he should roll up into a ball and shoot out like a cannonball. For is all I'm asking for.
yeah, like you could do something. Toothpick was hella underwhelming. Yeah, like here's the thing, like all of the like here's the thing. My problem, like how do I put this? You know how I said like all of like I said like I keep bringing this up, like how Sly Cooper is heavily inspired by Batman. These
Yeah,
characters feel like Batman villains and comic book villains. The ones in Thieves in Time, despite them smoking and like shooting or whatever, they feel like Saturday morning cartoon villains, and not in a
yeah.
good way. I think that's the main problem. I think like that's the problem with Sly 4 in general. You went from like edgy, dark, gothic comic books to Saturday morning cartoon, and I don't think it works. Like even the
It,
cutscenes are like fully animated Flash cartoons or whatever. I'm like, yeah, that really doesn't work for Sly Cooper. And not to mention, like a lot of the scenes are like bright and colorful. I'm like, no, like it could like sometimes Sly could be like that, but for the most part, it was again dark and macabre and gothic. Like think about it, like Sly 3 was the brightest Sly game before Thieves in Time. And even then
yeah.
that got dark and macabre and gothic. So like it's just so surreal and weird seeing that. I don't think it meshes well. And I think Toothpick is a great example because at the end of the day, all I remember about him is that he was loud and shot everything. His backstory was boring. He doesn't really leave a presence. His boss fight wasn't great. And again, the only
He
thing I know about him is like he was loud and and shot things, dude. That's all I remember about him.
Also, another thing I want to bring up too, because I feel like I've talked about it a lot with other people, but I'm not sure if I talked about it with you. Is the general art direction of Sly Thieves in Time was also off? Because like think about the guards themselves as well from the previous games. Like every character was designed after an animal, but you can still tell that they're supposed to be a person. Like Mugshot, literally, you can tell he's supposed to be a big old muscular dude. But then you get Thieves in Time, and all their characters just look like animals that just so happen to be wearing clothes. Nothing visually is creative enough about
Yeah.
to tell you anything. And like even the best designs in Thieves in Time are unfortunately held back or underwhelming due to other factors. And the only characters from the original Sly games who actually do resemble animals, like Clockwork and Dr. M, it makes more sense with them because technically they've lost their humanity. So better resembling animals makes sense for those two. But for like the average character in a Sly game, it shouldn't because they're still humans on the technical standpoint.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Like, it's kind of like what's like Zootopia, for example.
Yeah,
Like they act more animalistic when they lose their more human trait. Yeah. Um, but hang on, I want to read enable in a while dubs. Sly Thieves in Time was trying too much to be funny, a cartoon, and that's never what the series was. Only time that works and when it's a short. Only time that works is when it's a short animated movie like Goodbye My Sweet. Yeah, and even then, like Goodbye My Sweet was like again very comic book style wise. Like
yeah,
it was still very much a comic book.
the
It
cutscenes
was
were
it
like
wasn't an animated movie. It was more like what's the word
motion comic.
it was more like a motion comic. Yeah, like even then because remember they didn't even speak in that. They didn't even
Yeah,
speak. They could have, but they didn't even speak in that. So like you have that and like I don't know, man. Like you can't release there's only two characters I can talk about in Thieves in Time. One is for how bad he is, and the other one is for like how goofy he is.
hmm
And to be fair, like I guess that's better than nothing, but like still, he's goofy and kind of racist. I'm not gonna lie, but it's fine. I guess it's fine, but like most of the villains don't leave an impact. And when you have a story, you have a story like this, your villain's got to be a big selling point. Okay, there's
yeah,
three
especially
characters I can talk about Thief in Time.
yeah.
I forgot another character that we're definitely going to spend the most time on. I can already tell, but we'll get to her in a second. Uh,
All
but
right, so
yeah, like, and
uh,
the worst part is like the sorry, go ahead.
no, I'm sorry. Continue.
I was gonna say like, and the worst part is like the art for Thieves in Time isn't bad. It's just like because like apparently they got like an actual like legitimate like I don't want to say furry artist, but like he does he's known for like doing cartoon anthro stuff. That
Yeah,
he's been like the field of animation and stuff like that. And the style and it's not bad. It's just not Sly Cooper.
yeah, because
And like one of the best examples of that is like oh sorry, go ahead.
oh no, yeah. But to add on to that, because like an immediate example that comes to my mind with those characters are these coyote guards, because they literally just look like the coyotes standing on their hind legs. There's nothing visually about them enough to tell you anything outside of the fact they're coyotes, which would be fine anywhere else, but for a Sly Cooper game, it just feels very underbaked in terms of presentation.
Yeah, that's that. Yeah, like, again, because like, the worst part is because again, you can tell Senzori put in effort. You can tell Senzori played the original game. That's the worst part. You can tell they did. You can tell that yeah, they knew what the source material was. They just didn't quite understand it. And I can't get mad at somebody for not understanding something. That's the worst part. If you like
Yeah,
disregarded it and made something that didn't resemble Sly Cooper at all, I would be mad at you. But I can't really be mad at you when you understand it. You just didn't not understand. You knew what it was. You just didn't understand it quite the right way. Because there's a few ideas in Thieves in Time that aren't bad, but like at the same time, like yeah, you're just kind of disappointed, and that's the best way to put it. Thieves in Time was a bit disappointing.
I
It was
totally agree.
disappointing. That's it. I can't even
I
tell what they did. Sometimes I think they literally only did their. No, they put in the effort. Like they had Easter eggs. Like I said, the whole clockwork thing being in the background. All that they had Easter eggs and stuff like that, and like callbacks to the first games and stuff like that. I just don't think they understood the assignment properly. They
That's
should have
definitely
gotten somebody from Sucker Punch to like look over it. I think that might have helped. If someone from Sucker Punch
Absolutely.
said, "Hey, I'll come over here and like be the ambassador," that would have helped a lot. I think that would have worked out better. Yeah, but I can't really think of anything memorable about Toothpick. He was a crime boss who, let's see, he was a crime boss. He liked cowboys. He became a cowboy, and that also could have been an interesting concept. Like, oh yeah, like each character, because like Toothpick's the only one who does that. Because like each character like was a criminal in like the present day, but they want to live in a time where they could be like a warlord or something. That's a cool concept, actually. You can do a lot with that. And Toothpick's the only one who does that. Like everyone else is just kind of like at a random point in history for no discernible reason. Like there's no link to it. There's no theme going on. And it's just like, yeah, I don't know, man. Like I'm gonna put him in C for right now because I don't really think, because he's not terrible. He's serviceable, but
He's just kind of bare boned.
He's just kind of there.
Yeah.
He's there. He gets the job done. He's there. He gets the job done. You can't really get mad at him. He's like that one worker who's not good at his job, but he shows up every day. So you're like, you know what? I'm not gonna fire him. He does it okay. He does his job competently enough. He's not the best at it, but he shows up every day. And you know what? I'm not gonna fire him for that. El Jefe did too. No, because like El Jefe came back. He didn't have any samurai swords. He had a machete, and he wore a jumpsuit. He wore like a jumper. What's it called, like a fucking the gym setup or whatever. That's it. He didn't embrace being a Japanese soldier.
Yeah, no.
It would have been cool if he did, but he didn't. Like he just didn't.
He just kind of looked like he was dressing up
as
an IP man, you know, from that movie.
It man, yeah. I guess. It's,
but like even then, that's kind of a
why'd
stretch.
you say IP man? Why'd you say that so white? Why did you say that so white?
I just remember,
yes, my favorite kung fu movie, IP man.
I just remember the first two letters. They stand out too much for me to not pronounce them like that.
Okay, let me see here. Let's do a classic. Sir Rayleigh the Frog.
Oh, nice.
Let me see here. Sir Rayleigh is interesting because there's a character in Thieves in Time in the medieval section that's the main villain, and like I swear to God, it would have made more sense for this guy to be the villain, like to be a returning villain for that. Because you have returning villains all the time in Sly Cooper, and it would fit. Not only would it fit his aesthetic, because the guy was literally steampunk. It would make sense. They had the audacity to put his like hat from the original game in there as an Easter egg. So I'm thinking like, oh, it's gonna be Sir Rayleigh the Frog. But then a certain character mentions another character. Why am I pretending like this game hasn't been out for like almost a decade? No, basically okay, we all know it's Penelope. We all know that, but like. I gotta head out. You have a good one, folks. Yeah, you too, man. Thanks for dropping by.
See ya, man.
So yeah, we all know like it's Penelope or whatever. Like, yeah, this would have made more sense. It would have been like this would have been a better twist, actually. Yeah. The more I think about it, this would have been a better twist than Penelope. Oh, this villain that we haven't thought about in a while comes back as another threat again. Again, that would have been really funny. That would have been really interesting to have him come back. But no, it's just Penelope.
And I want to add something too. Is I was looking up a bunch of the concept artwork for Thieves in Time, and apparently the Zeppelin that Le Paradox had actually could create weather clouds. So physically, like that would have been actually made more sense for Sir Raleigh to have been like one of the secret antagonists or whatever, because he too had an air blimp that was an artificial weather storm creator.
Yeah, weather machine. Yeah, you literally could have made him the brains behind the operation. That would have been cool. Like, why didn't they do that? Like, why? For a cheap twist we all saw coming? Like, why? Why?
It was so dumb.
But anyway, him as an actual villain's fun. I like the steampunk aesthetic. I like that he just kind of, again, we talked about Toothpick. Like, oh, he was just a criminal, became a cowboy or whatever. But like, I love the fact that Sir Rayleigh was like an aristocrat with a ton of money. He was like, you know what? I'm gonna be a pirate. I'm gonna find the One Piece and be king of the pirates.
He's just a fun
And he
bad
said
guy
it, yeah.
because being fun, likes being a bad guy because it's fun. Like that's all he is, and that's fine. Honestly, it's way more than
Yeah, it's a
serviceable, and he'll enjoy it.
yeah, he's a petty ass nigga, but it's the way he went about it. He was like, "Oh
Exactly.
yeah, I am literally I am literally rich beyond my belief." But like, you know what? I just like being an asshole. And again, I like the steampunk aesthetic. I like that he's like the brains of the operation for like the claw not the claw gang, sorry, the Fiendish
The fiend.
Five. I really like this character. I really I think he's a lot of fun. And you know what? I'm gonna put him in A tier because he's just a lot of fun. He's just a lot of fun. Also, he's a fucking snitch. He's like, oh yeah, you can't bet you won't find Mugshot in Mesa City. Yeah, you fucking asshole.
Which I also find
I'm
funny
gonna
because
take you down with me. Say again.
I was just saying it's also kind of funny because Mugshot also snitches on Miss Ruby afterwards.
And Miss Ruby snitches on Panda King.
Yep.
And the funny thing is, Panda King is the only one who didn't snitch. He's the only one who didn't snitch somebody out. Now you could argue like he didn't know where Clarkwork is because like Sly had to do a lot of detective work to find him, but still,
Yeah. The dude
Panda
still
King
had
was always
about him.
about that life. I'm rich and bored. Yes, that's his motivation. But he went
Yep.
about it in the most assholeish, over the top way possible that it makes it fun. And again, he's also a mad scientist. He became a mad scientist pirate out of boredom. That's just hilarious. That's like One Punch Man. He just came. I became a powerful supervillain out of boredom.
It's so good.
That's great. That's it's so good. It's so good. And again, it all boils down to personality and impact he had, like on the character.
Yep.
We think about it, he's very similar to Toothpick. Problem is, Toothpick is so fucking forgettable because all he knew about him was he was loud and liked guns. That's it.
Yep.
And apparently, he got ran over by a train.
Good.
Yeah. Let me see here.
Hey
Speaking of
Slim.
Panda King, let's
Hey
talk.
Slim. I'm gonna be back in
Yeah,
a second. I'm just gonna grab a quick snack.
yeah, you go ahead.
Okay.
So next, we're gonna try to do Panda King. I think Panda King may be interesting because he's the first villain on this list. Toothpicks show up in America. Where can I find a tumbleweed? Yeah, so let me think here. Oh, my back. God damn it. Okay. So we have so yeah, I don't yeah, a lot of the Thief in Time villains are just kind of boring. Like that's the worst part. Like they all just are kind of boring. They don't leave an impact. They're not memorable in any way, and that's just kind of sad. I'm gonna talk about Panda King. Panda King's interesting because Panda King is so far the only villain we're gonna talk about who like actually redeemed himself somewhat. And I think he's like one of the most interesting characters in Sly Cooper. God damn it. Le Paradox stunk. Le Paradox, the skunk stunk. That's funny. That's funny, the janitor. Thank you very much. Um, yeah, but like, he's the first villain on here who like. There's only two villains who did this, but like, he's the first villain on here who like kind of got redeemed. I don't want to say redeemed, but like he did become essentially an ally to Sly. And even though they're on slippery on not great terms, he does respect Sly enough to like say, "Yeah, I'm not gonna kill you." I love that part where he said, I've decided not to kill you," and like Sly's like, "Ditto. I promise I won't." But you gotta hand it to him. The guy stood on business. He came from literally nothing. You grow to give a fuck about Panda King and three cousin daughter and stuff. Yeah. Also, like again, he grew up in poverty, and like the nobles made fun of him, and he decided to show them by making some badass fireworks, and decided to fuck their shit up. So that's pretty on point. I I also showed like even like his flame foo when he fought Sly in Sly 1, he still showed honor. He was still showing to be somewhat honorable, even though this is a guy who literally jumped his dad. He's like, I fight you with honor with my flame foo. Nigga, you jumped my dad. It was a 3v1, my dad. You didn't stop till my dad stopped moving. You can fuck off with your honor shit. Um Let me think. I think at the end of the day, I gotta rank him as a villain though. Should I rank him as a villain or a character?
I'd say
Um,
I'd say he still ranks as a bad guy because like at the end of the day, he's still a thief. He was still a terrorist that killed who knows how many people via his fireworks. And for Sly One, he's definitely a bad guy, like just straight up bad.
yeah, I know, but you also got to take Sly 3 into account too, don't you?
Yeah, no, totally.
Because
But that's
Sly 3 makes him a very complex. Sly 3 unironically makes him like the most complex character in the series, which is weird. But
yeah,
yeah, he's like,
but
I'm
like
trying to about. He's like, oh, I really want to save my daughter, but I also really want to kill Sly. Like, out of Prince, like, and like Sly's like, you know what, man, I don't care. I just need your help to get into my vault, bro, and that's it. Like, he genuinely doesn't care. But then he's like, oh yeah, I've decided that I'm not going to kill you, and he's like, okay, that's great news. I'm glad to hear it. Okay. But yeah, he genuinely struggles with his inner demons and tries to become better, and tries to see himself as more than just an over the top terrorist who wants to destroy everything. He tries to be better at least he tries to be better at least enough for his daughter.
yeah,
And I think even Sly realizes that like when he's like a peaceful monk trying to like get over what happened to Jin King, um he I think he realizes that I think Sly realizes that what he's went through is kind of enough for him to like somewhat understand and sympathize with him. And again, I think he's a good character, but like as a villain, like as an antagonist to Sly, he's kind of like if it was like I don't put this, if it was like a straight up character, because he's not a villain in Sly 3. That's the problem. He's just
yeah,
another obstacle in Sly 1, but in Sly 3, he's a better character. If he was like a straight up character, he'd be an S tier right now. He'd be an S tier.
yeah.
He's a great character. But like as a villain, we're ranking villains here. I have to give him like a B tier because he's just another antagonist who got his way. And again, he didn't really leave an impact in Sly 1 like the other villains who were like more colorful than he was, who had more personality. Because at the end of the day, he just kind of had like the whole, oh, I'm honorable. I will fight you with my flame foo. Again, even though motherfucker, you jumped Sly's dad, bro. It was a 5v1 on Sly's dad. You can't be talking about honor and shit, bro. But
That is fair. Yeah,
yeah,
I agree. That's
he wasn't super interesting till Sly 3. So while he's a
yeah,
great character as a villain, he's still a good villain, but he's just kind of there, He's just
yeah.
kind of there to be like an antagonistic threat. I am glad they brought him back and fleshed him out. And I
Oh yeah,
actually wish like the Sly Cooper gang, like the whole gang, like with the Guru and all of them stay together like for another game because I
yeah.
really want to see Panicking interact with the gang more. like I really do love like the idea of like him being the straight man of the group, like the only one with any common sense where everyone else is goofing off. I would love that. But yeah, I gotta put him in B. Sorry guys, he's going in B.
I think you made the right choice though.
Um, again,
Yeah, beyond Sly One, he's
again, if this
not.
was like if this was like character only, he'd be an S tier. He'd be an S tier.
Yeah,
But yeah, he doesn't really get interesting until Sly 3, and that's kind of a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, speaking of Sly 3 and Panda King, we have oh, what do you know, Andrew Tate? Andrew Tate. Uh he
General
believes women don't
Sal.
have rights. Yes, they named the chicken General Sal because haha, very very funny, very clever.
I just
But
say
yeah.
I just want to say this guy is the biggest fucking cock in the literal sense I think I've ever bore witness to in any game. This guy is so arrogant, so prideful, so cocksure. This guy actually made me fucking get annoyed with him just the very first time I even saw him. I didn't even hear him speak, and I knew I actually fucking hate this guy. I didn't even know what he did at the time. I
Now
just literally, he's such a prick.
now here's the best part though. He's annoying for all the right reasons. That's the best part
Exactly.
though. He's annoying. He's an asshole and annoying, but he's like entertaining. He's an entertaining asshole, and I'm sorry. Like when he says, "Oh yeah, she's a woman. She doesn't know it from that." Kind of base. Not gonna lie. I'm sorry, but yeah. Um, yeah, I would say like General Sal. General Sal is a character they wrote like it's very hard to write a character who's deliberately unlikable. That's
Yeah.
very hard. That's difficult to do because but they did such a great job. Not only is he a misogynist, he's like genuinely fucking arrogant. Like I remember that time when like Bentley when he was like I think it was Sly trying to get pictures, and he's like such an asshole about it. Like yeah, go you take your pictures and get the fuck out of here, you fucking piece of shit. I didn't even do anything to you, my nigga. What the fuck?
I love the part. I love the part
Not to
he's
mention.
going over the plan, and this asshole fucking takes photos of himself just for Bentley to go through the slideshow and be like, "Yeah, I stole your computer. So what? You want to fight, Turtle? Come on, come on, come at me, bro."
Yeah, and he's also kind of a mastermind because remember the reason that Panda King went into solitude is because he planned it. He planned for him to go into solitude because he knew he couldn't take on Panda King.
Yeah.
So he kind of god damn it. So like, is he like S tier?
So I would definitely put him in a high rank, but I'm not sure about S tier because like he's not exactly
He doesn't have.
what's the word I'm looking for? Because like he's a great piece of shit, but he's not Clockwork levels of straight up horror evil.
He doesn't. Yeah, he doesn't like again like. I guess the best word is he's not really all that menacing.
Yeah.
I get like he is menacing, but he's not like Clockwork level. He's not like a level where we better watch ourselves around this guy. No, because like remember, Sly beat him in basically like a 1-on-1, and he just ran away. I think
He
that's
beat
a
him.
big part of it. So
Yeah,
like,
he beat him twice in a one-on-one.
yeah, he beat him twice, and then he ran away. That's what happened. And then Carmelita arrested him afterwards. But that's besides the point. Point is, I don't think he's all that menacing because he talks a lot of smack and gets smacked around. I mean, he can go toe to toe with Sly, but I don't think he could go toe to toe with someone like Murray or again
No.
Panda King. If he had a bigger intimidation factor, I think he'd be S tier. But for
Yeah.
what he is, he's still pretty damn good. He's a damn good villain.
I think what also kind of keeps him from being S tier is he relies so much on magic and vampires as well. Because I know that Clockwork had his
Oh yeah,
evil
that was a thing.
like, but like General Sal has to resort to very underhanded and dirty tactics in order to even remotely hold up, and he still got his ass kicked.
Yeah. But he is a misogynist, and misogyny's kind of base. I'm tempted to put him in S tier. I'm sorry.
Argue with that.
Oh my god. All right, let's see here. Let's do. Here's an underrated villain, the Contessa.
Oh, hell yeah.
Okay, and this might sound a little controversial. I think Contessa should be an S tier.
Nope, I totally agree. I totally 100% agree. She easily
Okay,
steals the show as a villain.
so like, yeah, like honest to God, if she was she was the final villain for Sly 2, I wouldn't really complain. Like honestly, like that's like first of all, she basically achieves what a lot of villains fail at. Like first of all, she's better than La Paradox, because La Paradox pretends to be like reformed or whatever without anybody knowing about it, but it turns out
Yeah.
he's actually running a secret legal underground thing. Contessa does the same thing, except it's more maniacal and better. It's implied she poisoned her first husband, used the money to fund her prison guard system, and then apparently hypnotizes people using Clockwork's eyes to tell them where their money is, and kind of permanently brainwash them so they never commit criminal activity again. Oh my God, that is a great evil plan. My God, that's an amazing evil plan.
I
That's
absolutely.
a fantastic. Again, that's a Batman villain move.
It's so good. She is the Dr. Hugo Strange of the Sly Cooper cast. That is what she is. She is the Dr. Hugo Strange of the antagonists.
Yeah, yeah, and she has 2 levels dedicated to her. Mind you, and I gotta say, I don't know if I mentioned this, but like narratively speaking, the intro to her, like her first area, in my opinion, is one of my favorite moments in gaming history, and even narratively, because literally drove Mary crazy on Spice. Oh, you mean cocaine? But because that's what it was. Like again, Sly 2 was the darkest Sly Cooper series for a reason. There were so
Oh,
many allusions to drugs and alcohol. Holy shit! They had to
and
tone it down for Sly 3, actually.
yeah, it got pretty heavy in Sly 2.
But like the thing is, like one of the just a bit of a rant about Sly 2 in general. Sly, feed the elephant, feed the elephant coke. Feed the elephant coke, Sly. You heard of cocaine bear? This is cocaine elephant. But
Oh,
yeah, one of the reasons I love it is because from up until this point in the Sly 2, right, you've gone through 3 whole sections of the game. Now, through those 3 whole sections of the game, you're playing as either Sly, who has a lot of speed, agility, and can move around. And if he does have to fight, he has a decent amount of offense, right? And then
yeah.
you're playing as Murray, who has amazing defense. He likes getting into a fight. You could rough shit up with Murray. When you get into the 4th level, where you're in this new level where you've never seen before, fresh out the gate, you're playing as Bentley. And let's be honest, I love Bentley as a character, but in Sly 2, he was everyone's last choice. We were
Yeah.
afraid of going out there playing as Bentley because there wasn't a whole lot you could do with Bentley. And they were kind
I
of
think
saying, "Oh yeah, if you want to save Sly and the gang, both the player and Bentley, you gotta man up and play Bentley. I'm sorry, you gotta man up
yeah.
and play Bentley." And
Yeah, like
it's such a cool move, both narratively, because like this what's this is what sets up Bentley as the second main character of the Sly franchise. I know like technically it's Sly, Bentley, and Murray, but no. Bentley is more or less the hidden protagonist of Sly Cooper,
oh yeah.
especially in Sly 2, this moment on. And it's implied that he's the only person. It's implied because remember, like the Sly games heavily imply that everything that's being told is Sly writing this down in his journal. And it's heavily implied that Bentley is the first non-Cooper in the bloodline to actually write in the Thieves Raccoonus.
Which is insane to think about.
Yeah, because like by Sly 3, remember, Sly retired and pretty much said, "Oh yeah, not only am I leaving you the Thieves Raccoonus, I'm leaving you the Cooper Vault." That's how much he trusts Bentley.
Yeah.
So So yeah, you have all that. It's like, yeah, you gotta man up if you want to save the gang. If you want to save the gang, if you want to save Sly, man up and play Bentley. But this place is creepy though, and I've never been here before. Man up and play Bentley. It's like it's so good narratively when Bentley's like, yeah, I gotta save my friends, or they're gonna end up. Because there's a lot of games that like try to do this thing where they try to force you to do certain things, or it's like a scripted event. This isn't a scripted event. They're pretty much saying, oh yeah, you better get good with this character if you want to get these other characters back. And again, that's very good narratively and gameplay wise. I think, and it's one of my favorite moments in gaming. One of my favorite moments in the series.
It's genuinely such a great standout chapter just because like it is such a moment of weakness right after two really good high points. Not only beating the shit out of Dimitri and also stealing the clockwork wings right out of the public eye. Right? But like this is one of the low points for the Cooper gang, and the fact that you're playing as the weakest member and you triumph over that makes it all the more satisfactory when you get the gang all together. I also like how the fourth chapter ends not on them talking about like what they couldn't do, but the fact that they not only escaped jail but they kicked ass on the way out.
Yeah, not to mention like and then you notice that it wasn't even like, oh yeah, we went on like usually how Sly Cooper things end where it's like, oh, we went on a little vacation or whatever and all that good stuff, right? This one ends with them just kind of camping and hanging out. They took a few weeks off. Like, yeah, we took a few weeks off to camp and hang out and all that stuff. And they even like think about it like, yeah, like Sly and the gang, they're like, yeah, we've never really been apart before that moment. And again, we have a lot of games in the early 2000s and like and shit like that, but like you really do feel the weight narratively when Bentley's like, yeah, we've never really been apart, and they're just laughing and like they say, oh, Murray had to pull over a couple of times because they couldn't stop laughing. It felt real, you know. It felt like these three were basically brothers who've never really been apart from each other, even into adulthood, and now they're really pondering, oh yeah, we really were just separated for a while, and you know, it's just kind of, I wouldn't say weird. It's just kind of real. I know we're
Yeah.
talking about anthropomorphic animals in a world and stuff like that, where it's like mad science and shit, but it felt real. It felt like a real moment between those characters. And again, I think people really underappreciate Sly Cooper's storytelling. I really do. Again, it is about, oh, silly ha 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 raccoon whatever, but it still has more. The writing and the story has more effort put
Authentic,
into it than I think people realize.
genuine emotion.
Yeah,
The Sly Cooper series puts everything in modern writing to shame.
yeah, and also Sucker Punch still really does love Sly Cooper. They've openly admitted if we ever got the IP back, we'd love to make another game. Because it's kind of like in IP limbo right now.
Yeah.
And did you ever play Ghost of Tsushima?
I have a copy of it, but I
Um,
haven't my PS4 up yet. Like, I mean, I did, but I took it down because like I had gotten an Xbox and I really wanted to play on that, and I just haven't had the time to really set it back up and play it. I've heard a lot of great things about it though.
oh, it's a really fun game. It's a really fun game. I highly recommend it. However, I gotta tell you this. You know the horse you want at the beginning of the game. Don't get it. Get the next best horse you want. Save your favorite horse for later, because they didn't tell me this, but yeah, bit of a spoiler. The first horse you get dies, and you got to pick
Oh,
another horse. So if you're, because like I wanted to do like a black horse thing with like a black rider samurai thing, but yeah, my first black horse died, and no one fucking told me your horse dies, so you can't get
shit.
another black horse either. So you got to get. So I was like, ah, oh, god damn it. So I got a white horse, and it still kind of looked cool, like the black rider on a white horse, like Death or whatever. But I was like, damn it, I still wish I had my black horse. Damn it, god damn it.
So
Um,
a bit
yeah,
of a side story, but this kind of has to do with the horse thing. But my first ever experience in feeling genuine pain from a game when it came to a horse was I was playing Red Dead
Red
Redemption
Dead
for the
Redemption
first,
2.
and oh my god, there was this one fucking mission where this one horse was stolen and I had to get him back from a bunch of bandits. And as I was chasing the bandits on horseback, I was aiming my gun and I was shooting, and I ended up putting a bullet in the back of my horse's head.
Oh no.
It was so horrible. As
Buttercup, no!
I'm just shooting, I'm just trying to kill these bandits, and I accidentally put down my fucking horse. I was so distraught
No.
about it. Like, what did I do? 3 hours of companionship
No, it
gone
like
out the fucking window. And then after I got
yeah,
the
but
other
like
horse,
have you ever played Red Dead Redemption 2?
oh, I haven't played Red Dead Redemption 2. I've only played the first one and Undead. Oh man.
But like in that game, basically like horse management is a big part of the gameplay. Mr. Ed,
Right?
no, game with power. But like is a big part of the gameplay. And basically like you're more than likely to keep the same horse you had for most of the game, right? Cuz like you put so much management into one horse.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. Near the end of the game when you're fighting and you're basically at the top of the mountain fighting a bunch of bandits, your horse kind of saves you and it ends up dying. And
No.
like there's nothing you can do because like you're trying to run away from these bandits or whatever. And like again, it's just slowly dying, closing its eyes, and Arthur's like next to it, knows it can't do anything. It just says thank you. It whispers in its ear, thank you. And I was like, no, Daisy, why? No, Daisy! Why? Oh man, I was tore up. I can't believe I was tore up about a video game horse, but I was actually tore up. I was like, no, no, you fuckers.
It's
Uh,
always it's always the animals
hey,
dying that
Dragon.
oh, it hurts. It hurts so much when it happens.
Also, by the way, yeah, Contessa, Red Dead Redemption has one of the saddest endings. Yeah, it has a true old West ending. But yeah,
Yeah.
Contessa's all like really good. Her boss fight's a lot of fun. Her character's a lot of fun. She's overarching, mind you. She's manipulative. She's a really good villain. Like she's just a
Oh, yeah.
straight up really good villain.
I think
So
I
I think
think
she
one of my
belongs in S tier.
yeah. I think one of my favorite details about her is how she just acts like absolutely not she doesn't care about the whole morality spiel. She doesn't give a shit. She's just like, I don't care about your nonsensical fight for righteousness. I'm above law and order and good and evil. And that's why I should have the clockwork eye. And even Sly's like, did you fucking hear yourself, you fucking sociopathic eight-legged cow? Why would I give you a tool of mass hypnotism to someone who believes that they're above justice? What the hell is wrong with you?
Yeah, because once you think about it, besides the whole like stealing from people thing, uh, Sly's basically a vigilante. Like outside of the stealing from people part, he's basically a vigilante.
Yeah.
Um, so like he still believes in justice and shit like that. Now the other Coopers in his bloodline, that's questionable. They point that out in Sly 3. Maybe Sly took this whole like noble thief thing a little too seriously. Maybe the other Coopers weren't that noble. And I liked how they brought that up.
Yeah.
Um Sad they didn't do anything with it though. Sad they didn't do
Yeah.
anything with it. But anyway, let's do that was a Sly 2 villain. Let's do something from Sly 3. Sly 3, because Sly 3 is the only game in the franchise where the villains aren't teamed up together. They're just random villains they just so happen to come across, which is kind of funny once you think about it. They're just
I
kind of
really like
it's like, yeah, we're just kind of here.
I actually really like that because it always feels like you're actually going up against like a final boss every time. Because like given the fact that these bosses are also very difficult to fight on their own, I also like that they're constantly getting the upper hand on the Cooper gang in one way or another. It just makes them feel way more smarter and threatening.
Yeah. Also, I don't know why Breaking Bad, but with that Ed Eddie characters, I actually drew something like that a while ago.
I do
I
remember
kind
you
of did
did
something
that.
like drew something like that a while ago. Yeah, they were older and stuff like that. Yeah. I didn't do anything with it.
Honestly,
But
it would be a really
yeah, that was
cool
fun. That was fun to
for.
draw.
Yeah.
Say again? Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was cool. It was supposed to be like Ed, Ed and Eddie meets Grand Theft Auto, basically. Um, yeah, I don't know. Like I made Ed a meth addict, but yeah. Uh, what about the mask from the mask of Dark Earth?
So that so like that is more so just an obstacle that the Cooper gang have to kind of uh well, I don't want to say work around. They got to deal with it because well, this is actually sort of a more interesting fact, but the miners themselves were actually the main antagonists of that chapter. Cuz like if you think about
Yeah,
it,
I know, but we don't.
uh,
Yeah, which is weird because like yeah, because like the whole thing is like oh yeah we're trying to stop the miners and trying to drive them out of this place. Um, the mask just keeps getting in the way. Like that's literally what it is. Now that I think about it, yeah, the mask is just kind of there in the way, like for no reason. That is a. I'm sorry, but like I love chapter 2 of Sly 3 is a weird chapter. I'm sorry, it's a weird chapter.
it is.
Um, it's a weird chapter. Um, but counter argument, giant Carmelita.
Okay. Um counter argument. I have two plausible ideas on why they did that. Besides the fetish thing, okay? That's a third option, but we don't talk about the third option yet. So one is I believe they did the giant Carmelita as an inside joke because if you go back to the first Sly Cooper game, Carmelita's model is gigantic compared to literally everyone else's. And the reason why she's
Yeah,
given such
because
a
like anytime you see
model,
her, it's like a close up.
yeah. And the reason why they made her so big was because it would help her stand out from the background easier, which I get, but she's just so much larger than Sly in comical ways. And and I think that this is supposed to be like a funny callback to that. And
Well, we
two,
have 7 whole people watching, huh?
oh wow, nice. Sup everybody? And anyway, so my other idea is I was looking up and apparently the people behind this chapter wanted to do like a B movie inspiration and they found a movie about dinosaurs in Mexico, but I think they might have gone with Attack of the 50-Foot Woman, a real movie, by the way, which sometimes whenever I talk
Yeah,
about it, it feels like I'm the
I
only
know.
person that knows about it sometimes.
I know about it. A lot of macro fetish people got their awakening from that movie. Uh it's weird, but it's true.
So, like, I
Um,
want to think that this just a. I don't know. I feel like I'm just trying to find reasons to add something to the mask. Because the problem is, it's just a cursed mask. It doesn't have a personality. It's
yeah,
just
it
this.
doesn't have personality. It's just evil. It makes people more angry or whatever. It makes them bigger. And also it doesn't even really have like a genuine like connection to Sly or the gang at all. Like it's just kind of there. I'm gonna put it in D tier. Like I don't like it's just kind of
Yeah,
there. I don't know what
yeah,
else to
that's
say. It doesn't really add anything. It's just kind of there. Like
yeah,
do we even call it like it's not even it's not even a disappointment. It's just there. Like no one asked it
yeah.
to come and it didn't really do anything. I done
It's also part of
um
one of the least favorite Sly chapters as well. So it's like you're not really missing much.
I wouldn't say the Guru is like my least favorite. Like that one's my least favorite. It's just the weirdest. It's just it
Yeah,
feels the most like a detour. Like it feels the most like a detour to the main plot.
agreed.
Okay, let me see. Let me see here. Let's do another Thieves in Time villain. Let's do the racist bear. Let's do
Yeah.
Grizz. Grizz. Wow.
Why B tier? That's pretty high.
No, I'm just putting it there so I don't have to like scroll all the way back down.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
we're still discussing this.
Yeah.
So, okay, I remember this character more, but probably not for the reasons they expected me to. Look, Grizz is kind of racist. I'm not gonna... They made a
Yeah.
black bear a hip hop star, and he talks and jive and shit.
It's
But at
really
the
hard
same
to say
time,
more than
but
he
at
is.
the same time, he is funny. He is
Yeah.
funny. I'll give him that. He is entertaining. I will say that. Like he's one of the few I remember from that game. He like apparently like he was an artist. Turns out he's a bad artist, but he wanted to go back in time. Like why does he have like and he has the royalty crown or whatever and shit? And I'm like, okay, why not make him like the king in like the medieval section? There are so many better options for the medieval section the more I think about it. But that's beside the point.
Yeah.
Um
So I do like his motive in the chapter where he wants to forge cave paintings, and that's why he steals Bob's spear, is to steal pterodactyl eggs and use them to forge cave paintings that he can then dig up in the present and make millions off of. Like, that's actually a really cool idea.
that's the paradox that that's the paradox's scheme altogether. Like that's literally why they're in the past.
Yeah.
Which, once you think about it, technically isn't even all that illegal.
Yeah.
Like, Le Paradox said they got away with being a little... Like, even Sly points this out to Le Paradox. You literally had the best scam possible, and technically it wasn't even all that illegal. And you gave it up because of some petty-ass bullshit I don't even know about? Like, really, dude? Like, Like, seriously, if you didn't steal the canes, no one would figure this out, dude. Literally no one would figure this out.
It's so fucking stupid.
I'm
gonna
I'll get
explode.
to Le Paradox. We'll get to Le Paradox in a second.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll deal with him when we get.
To quote Bob from The Incredibles, we'll get there when we get there.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I don't like. But like, outside of that, he really doesn't add anything. And then, like he said, oh yeah, by the way, when he's fighting Marie, you think he's gonna have like a painting based mini boss or boss fight or whatever. No, he's ice skating. Apparently, he's always wanted to be an ice skater. That came out of fucking nowhere. Like, literally, it came. I remember playing it, and I was like, wait a minute, what? When the fuck did that cut? That never came up in the story. Oh, suddenly he's an ice skater. Okay, sure, fuck it.
I think the only reason why they did that was because, like, one, they realized that they had written themselves into a situation where it's like, oh, the gang's now just randomly at this time period to save themselves, but we don't know how to
Hold this
fit a
thought 1
villain
second.
in.
I gotta use the restroom. I'll be right back.
Yeah, totally.
I'll be right back at the restroom.
Yeah.
Oh.
Grizz sis. Yeah, that's true. That's a good one, Jim Cam. I don't know the name of the movie, because there's actually a lot of movies that take place in like the Midwestern or like the Southwestern part of the US. I don't remember the one with the dinosaurs, but I do remember this one with giant spiders though. I think it was called Eight-Legged Freaks. I really like that movie and I would personally recommend it. Because like there's actually a lot of cool horror-esque movies, B movies that take place in that area. So yeah, I can't, I don't remember the dinosaurs in Mexico one because like the name of the director slips me. It's like Randy something, Randy something. But yeah, I would definitely recommend Eight-Legged Freaks.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I might need to see a doctor for this. This is getting ridiculous. Anyway, where were we?
Grit is a racist caricature who sings on ice.
Yeah, I'll put him in C tier. Like I can't put him I can't put him next to Panda King. That seems wrong. I don't know why. He's just C tier, dude. I don't know what to tell you.
Agreed. Like I will say that one
He's
thing I think that puts
well,
him above Toothpick is that he's always like back talking to Cyril over the phone. Like he's just so done with this shit. And honestly, I can kind of relate to him at that moment because even I was like, yeah, no, I'm fucking done with this. What the hell is going on?
you know what? I actually screw it. I'm gonna put him in B tier. He's entertaining enough to be in B tier. Fuck it.
Yeah.
I can't be too biased against Thieves in Time. He deserves to be there. Um. Ah. God damn it! All right. Now, that was a Thieves in Time villain. Let's do Miss Ruby.
All right.
Miss Ruby. Miss Ruby was a weirdo kid who played with roadkill, and because of that, she became a witch.
She also wanted to invade Mexico.
Like that.
Let's not forget that.
Oh, right. She wanted to invade Mexico. Why would you want to do that? I don't know.
Just because. Just go right down from the coast to Louisiana.
I mean, why would you want to?
Right into there.
I mean, let's be real. She couldn't. Let's be real. She couldn't make Mexico worse. She couldn't make it worse. Let's be honest.
If anything, she'd probably make it more colorful, given or something. So like Miss Ruby, her chapter is all about breaking up the formula for a bit, because like we had two, I don't want to say by the books bad guys, but like she was different because she brought like voodoo mysticism into the field. Like she was straight up like a dark magic antagonist, and her chapter was supposed to be spooky, but
we had no, like there was magic in Mugshot's Mugshot section. Yeah, like again, like you explained to me how fucking rays of sunlight destroy your guns and make them unusable. I am really hung up on that. I'm sorry.
No, you have a point. You do have a point. Okay, so this is the second chapter that utilizes magic. Okay, I think we could agree to that at least.
Yeah. So okay. So like, I'm dicking around. By the way, I don't care. I'm just dicking around.
Totally. So like Miss Ruby's, I think she just does her job. I don't hate her. I like her for what she is, but I'm definitely not head over heels for her. I'm sort of the same feeling towards her and Sir Rowley. Like, they both do their job, and I think they're both entertaining for different reasons, but like beyond that, I think she just does her job as just being a intimidating looking villain with an okay backstory.
Also, like I love her voice actress so much.
Oh yeah, she's great.
Well, all you do is laugh. I'm sorry, that's so good. I'm sorry.
It's exactly how I would expect.
Oh man, it's great. Say again.
It's exactly how I expect an alligator to sound, given they have those wide mouths, just loud.
You know, I still like. I played that game so much. I still remember like the exact beat for like the fucking rhythm game that you had to beat her.
Dude, oh my god, I've died so many times to that rhythm game. It's practically burned into my brain.
A wolf.
Yeah.
Ha 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 ha.
God damn it.
Yeah, I still remember it, god damn it.
I can picture him doing those gesture movements out of the ways. Oh, that's awesome.
I'm gonna put her in B because, like, again, she's just kind of there. Again, a lot like like, say what you will about Rayleigh, at least he had attitude, he had flair, he had pettiness. Yeah, he had zest. You know, these two had zest. These two are fine for what they were. And he became a better villain later, a better character later on, so it's fine.
Would you put her above Grizz though? Is my question.
Grizz was more entertaining.
Okay, that's fair.
So I'll put him there.
Yeah, Miss Ruby just didn't have a lot to offer that one more.
Yeah, again, she was fine for what she was.
Yeah.
Okay, here's another villain that now that I think about it, actually might be higher than I thought. John Bassan.
Yes, my boy.
Yeah, because like when I first saw, like when I thought about, it, like yeah, like even Sly pointed this out. The guy isn't necessarily evil because like back in his day in the 1800s, he would have been a hero. You know, he would have chopped down all the trees, make sure things like that. So like right off the bat, he's a little different than the other villains you deal with. And then
literally didn't have
you have the fact that well, not even that, it's more along the lines of he didn't understand that it wasn't okay in the modern time to be like this.
Yeah.
Like as Sly pointed out, the world doesn't need another room for another strip mall. And then there's the fact that the guy adapted so quickly to modern day technology and shit that he managed to make an entire timber industry empire within a couple of years. That's damn impressive.
I also want to point out that especially admirable, considering that he's on the technical level the dumbest member of the Claw Gang, and yet he's also the one that ends up fucking up everything that the Cooper Gang has worked for in a matter of seconds.
Oh yeah, like he's not. That's the thing. He may be primitive, but he's not stupid. That's what makes him cooler. Like he's not even stupid. He's definitely primitive in his mindset, but like he's genuinely just as intelligent as the other Claw Gang members. And again, he did outsmart Sly and the others pretty well. The guy's also like physically intimidating too. Like the guy, like dude, when he literally said like, what could he use the clockwork talons for? This nigga put him on a stick and made a fucking axe out of him. That's a metal as shit, dude. I'm sorry. That's metal. That's pretty damn metal. I'm sorry.
It's one of the coolest visual images I think I will ever see from these games. Just this goddamn bison with a claw axe cutting down an entire forest and then not even breaking a sweat, being like, just another Tuesday in the Outback.
That's the Outback's Australia, dude.
Just roll with it. Just roll with it. It's already too late for me to change my mind on that.
No, I will not roll with it. You will get it right, damn it. Is and also he's a petty motherfucker who will like cheat at his like fucking his fucking lumberjack games, which is funny.
I mean, to be fair, the dude is so muscular, he's hunchback. I wouldn't want to argue with him, even if I was at the moral advantage there.
And again, a reminder that wasn't it Bentley who fought him? Bentley, the weakest member of the team, and smart.
Yeah, it was technically Bentley that fought him, although it was way more running away and then telling Sly which buttons to press to fry him, cut him, and then smash him.
And the dude still survived that. Holy shit.
Like, not just anyone can take getting crushed by a bug and walk it off.
Is he S tier? I think John Bisson might be S tier, guys. I don't know. He might be S tier.
I think
I'm putting him in S tier. He's that.
I kind of disagree because like I do like him, but I think he's better off in A tier. Like he's just high enough in the backstory department, in the story department, but I don't think
I just want to
Contessa or Clockwork.
Like I want to hear a valid argument why he's not in S tier. Like I'm not trying to like be like an asshole. Like I genuinely want to know why he shouldn't be in S tier.
No, I totally get it. It's just well, John.
Because I don't want this just to be me jerking myself off and not like taking your like arguments into account. I'm not.
No,
You know me.
totally.
I'm not that. I'm not that kind of asshole.
Yeah, no, you're the good kind. Let me think. Because John Bassan, I do think he has like a holy shit, Sly Cooper versus the Mexican cartel. That is a hell of an episode idea. Whew. Anyway, so John Bassan, visually, I love him. Like, I do like him as a character. However, I don't think he's as evil or conniving as, and like, I mean, he's not an evil person. He's just like in the wrong time period. I do think he's got sympathy points, but like, he doesn't necessarily have a. Oh, what's the? I don't really know. Uh, like John Bassan, I think is good, but I wouldn't say he's S tier. I think he's like close though. Maybe like at the top of, maybe close to the top of A rank. But that's just me. I can't really think of a good reason as to why he's not in S tier, but I'm not so sure. Nah, you're jerking yourself
Is it
off.
okay?
What? You're jerking off Jean Bassan and
No,
so am I. Pause. No. What is that?
I'm just gonna say, you think he's in high A, I think he's an S. Like, we can just round it up to an S.
Okay.
You okay with
yeah,
that?
that's fine. I mean, I do like him anyway, so it's not like I lose.
All right, let's see here.
Broke me, boy.
Well, struck me. Let's I'm just gonna get this out of the way. El Jefe,
Yeah.
C tier.
Yeah.
He's just kind of there. Like, he doesn't,
So,
like, he's worse than Toothpick. He's just kind of there. He doesn't even fit the aesthetic of his world he's in. He doesn't like put on samurai armor or anything. He's just a dude in a jumpsuit with fucking machetes. Like, bro.
like I'll speak from a more artistic and technical point about it. I do like El Jefe's idea as a character, a mercenary general for hire. I do like him being a Siberian tiger in feudal Japan as like this warlord that's taken over, because tigers are often associated with the war and their natural fighting instincts, and on top of that, I think he's like just a straight up evil bastard in Thieves in Time. I like him because he's just a bad person who finds gain in toppling countries. But like, he's so underutilized and he's so not well thought out that I can't even really call him a great character. The only reason why I like him compared to the other antagonists is like, he's not even a joke villain compared to how the others feel, because he actually feels somewhat serious. But even then, that's kind of undermined.
Yeah, and that's fine. No, go ahead.
He's
Sorry.
there. He's just not a great villain.
He's just there. I guess my problem.
Yeah, and you know what pisses me off about this? If you look at the cover for Thieves in Time, you will actually see El Jefe's shadow on the cover, which in any other case would be a really cool, ominous foreshadowing of giving away like an idea as to who the big bad is. But they don't do that. It's just his shadow is on the cover, and even then, it's like, it's not significant whatsoever. He's just a character to exist as a bad guy. And he's voiced by Nolan North. No shade to him. That's it.
Yeah, also he raped Murray.
Yes, he did. God, we are never going to get over that one. That was...
Not to mention, he knew it was Murray and still raped him.
Yeah.
But anyway. But anyway. And cartels have the best pets sometimes. Yeah. Ideas can only go so far. Yeah, don't fall in love with potential. That's something I learned pretty early on in life. Let me think. Who's up next? Why not
So
everyone's favorite literal lounge wizard, Dimitri?
yes.
I will say right off the bat, um, he's like I think he's a low A because he's just
Okay.
so damn entertaining. I'm sorry, he's entertaining. I love him so much. Like I don't care what anyone says. He's entertaining.
He's a great
Um,
character.
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like his backstory being like, oh, he was a failed artist because I can kind of relate to that. But he's like a failed artist who decided, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna do forgeries and shit like that. Because that's what people want. And then he just starts owning nightclubs, and the guy's just vibing. And you know what
Yeah.
I like most about Dimitri though? He's the only one who actually isn't trying to take over the world. He's just a practical fucking thief. Again, this
Yeah.
is something like fucking better than La Paradox. Like, yeah, I'm just counterfeiting money. I'm using the perfect printing plates to counterfeit money. And he's like, yeah, that's a practical fucking solution. Like he's not trying to take over the world or anything. Like, yeah, I'm printing fucking money. Sue me. Like what? Like
Exactly.
holy shit. And he's like, yeah, I'm printing money to just vibe, man. I'm just vibing. The nigga's just vibing. That's what he's doing. That's what he's fucking doing. And I also
He's
like how he's not even that mad that Sly broke into his like things or whatever. He's more pissed off that Sly called his drip mid. It's like, hey,
it,
your drip's mid.
it's so good. Something else. Something else I don't really see brought up, but it's not necessarily the way he speaks, which again, that on its own is a fantastic thing to talk about. It's literally his whole appeal, just the way he speaks. But I think a lot of people tend to miss that he actually spoils away the twist at the beginning of the game.
Refresh me on that actually,
Oh, okay.
because I know he
Okay,
says a
so
lot of crazy kooky shit.
yeah, no, totally, totally. Okay, so here's what's funny. So like we all know that Dimitri has his funny way of speaking. That's because he picked up his English skills from watching music videos. Well, here's what's funny.
Yeah,
When Sly goes to encounter him for the first time, Dimitri has no idea what the fuck is going on. And as Sly is trying to tell him and that he's gonna steal those tail feathers, Dimitri's trying to cut him a deal. And you don't notice it at first, but he's trying to cut a business deal with Sly over Clockwork's body parts. Now that in and of itself doesn't sound off, but what makes it so interesting to me is as Sly brings up Clockwork, Herc, and how much of a danger he is, Dimitri straight up says, "What is it with you and clocks, bro?" And I'm reading directly from the script right now. Have you no vision? Do you hear
yeah.
what I am beaming to you? And it's funny because you look back on that and you realize it's not that Dimitri doesn't understand what he's saying, it's that he has no clue about the whole plan to bring Clockwork back from the dead. So, oh, Dimitri himself actually ends up revealing the twist way early on, just because like he's vibing in the most conventional way a thief could vibe. He's just doing it so well, and he doesn't even know about Clockwork as a character. He just took advantage of the tail feathers. He's like, yeah, fuck it, I'll take advantage of these. I mean, why would I give them up? And it totally makes me think,
Yeah.
holy shit, Sly, had you not just fucking talked to this guy, you could have prevented the entire ending from happening. Wow.
Probably not because like Arpeggio's plan was pretty much already in place. He already had everything he needed. Like the food in his like restaurant and stuff like that was laced with spice and all that other stuff. His plan was pretty much all in place. All he needed was all the parts together. And again, remember, he knew Sly would get all the parts for him. So it was like,
Yeah.
yeah, just do it for you. Basically, Sly did his job for him,
No,
which is
exactly. But
crazy.
that's the
Isn't
funny.
this guy an anti-hero? Wait, hang on. His dance music still hits to this day. Oh yeah, hoo hoo, do. That is still a bop. I'm sorry, it really is.
It's so good.
So I
Juice.
so I didn't
Who's got juice?
so why didn't the Paradox so why didn't the Paradox team up with Clockwork? That's a great idea. Anyway, Isn't this guy an anti-hero in Sly 3? Yes, he is, and he was in like a lot of the promotion for Thieves in Time and everything, and he doesn't even get a speaking role in the game, which is weird. And he's
But
even like credited as a voice actor in the game, but he doesn't get a speaking role, which is weird. But okay. The more down to earth the bad guys contrast with the well take over the world types, and the former type I've always found more entertaining. Yeah. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna counterfeit money into so I can vibe and dance or whatever. Fuck it. Clockwork was more useful to the Claw Gang as pieces rather than a whole, it seems. I mean, again, Clockwork had bigger ambitions, due to me.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
No. It's fine. It's just like what you said about Sly putting things in motion. Yeah, that was like part of the problem that Sly himself didn't think about. Like, because he never thought that someone could be taking advantage of his situation. And you think about it, like, had Sly just listened to Dimitri, he could have possibly realized the twist before it even happened. But like, and like part of the thing about the second game is Sly, trying to hold up the reputation of his family as best he can, only for things to take a downward spiral the moment he lets his guard down. Like, like accepting Neela as an honorary member, which, well, we all know how that ended up.
Well, I don't think he really did that. I think the reason is I think he saw like Neela as a better alternative to Carmelita at that point in time, because he was like, oh, at least she's not trying. She's not like, because like, let's be real. Like, the reason that it's kind of Carmelita's fault for like always thinking the worst of Sly instead of actually listening to him, because like if Carmelita actually listened to Sly, like, and like did what Neela did and like helped him and teamed up with him, their relationship would be a lot better. But the main thing is like Carmelita refuses to like let her guard down around Sly, which, to be understandable, yeah, it's kind of understandable because Sly's a fucking thief. It makes sense.
Yeah,
but
totally.
But that's besides the point.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wouldn't say that it would completely change the course of the story. I think it is like some decent foreshadowing to like basically like, oh yeah, all the Clock Gang, the Claw Gang members essentially don't know that Arpeggio's plan is to bring it all back together so we can revive Clockwork's body. But at the same time, because once you think about it, if Sly didn't try to get the Clockwork parts back, Arpeggio's plan kind of falls apart. Because then Arpeggio would have to depend on himself to get the parts back. So if Sly didn't even bother, like, you know what, fuck it, I don't even want the parts back, Arpeggio's plan kind of falls apart.
Yep.
But don't get me wrong, like, the Claw Gang were still doing some pretty shady shit, because again, like, the Tess was doing some bad shit, John Bison was doing some bad shit. A lot of them were doing some bad shit that he needs to stop, but still, you know? So like it's a bit complicated. It's a bit complicated, but it works. It's fine. It's a fine plot. The only part about Sly 2 I don't like is Clockula. That's literally it. Like, that's literally it. Everything else is fine. Speaking of which, let's talk about Arpeggio.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be real with you. Arpeggio's kind of mid.
Okay,
I'm putting him. I feel like he belongs in C tier. Like, here's the thing. Like, we talked about, like, oh, this is all his master plan or whatever. But like, there's like three big things that are the problem. One, his motivation is shit. Like, his motivation is really fucking weak, dude. I'm sorry. Like, his motivation sucks. You could have made your own pair of wings or anything like that. Like, yeah, and you wanted to bring back an entire, like, metallic demon thing's corpse back to life just so you could pilot it when you already have like a flying machine at the helm. I'm sorry, dude, that's pretty damn weak. That's weak motivation. Secondly, like, the whole like, oh yeah, I planned this from the start, which, to be fair, is pretty good. It's a pretty decent plan to like say, oh, Sly's gonna bring everything together for me. But like, at the end of the day, like we said, if Sly decided not to, your plan fails. Your entire plan falls apart. If you already stole the Clockwork parts, why even bother like splitting them with your splitting them with your teammates.
Allies?
Why
Yeah.
even bother? Why not? Yeah, why not just pay for them? Why not just get them back? And again, they use them for their own purposes, but like at least again, like I don't know, man. It's just so weird. It's needlessly convoluted. It ended up working out, but again, everything had to go just right for it to work out.
Yeah.
Um, and then finally there's no way he didn't see Neelam not backstabbing him. like I'm sorry, you got to be fucking stupid not to see that coming. I'm sorry, that's just dumb.
I
You deserve to get backstabbed.
I think with Arpeggio,
He
I
wanted
think
to
the
be
whole
immortal. The
yeah.
main the, yeah, but like also the main thing was flying. The main thing was flying.
Yeah, we're definitely not gonna act like that wasn't his reason. That was I mean, he's not gonna fool me. That's exactly what he wanted it for. He just put on the whole immortality thing because he's like, oh yeah, that's a bonus, but I can fly. I'm a free bird. Like
He
Arpeggio
needs
was
people to drug to
smart.
use the parts, remember?
Yeah. Like Arpeggio
Yeah,
was super
yeah, yeah, like again, yeah, go ahead, sorry.
no, it's fine. But like Arpeggio's problem was he was really smart in that he knew how to play with people. But the thing is, he wasn't wise enough to foresee himself being in the equation. Like he sees himself as this big brainy mastermind who's in control of everything. But there's a reason why he's not down on the field with his teammates. Because like compared to the other antagonists, Dimitri, uh, Rajan, Contessa, and Jean Bisson, all those guys, regardless of how we feel about either of them, they're all on the field. Every single one of them is a physical threat in some way. Arpeggio solely saw himself as like the brainy champion of them all, which is why he's like saved for last as the guy who's like, "Ooh, I'm the evil mastermind." So to him, I could understand like he saw himself in a place where he's not necessarily a pawn, but more so the person playing. But it's also that same brainy intelligence that got to him because he never once considered that he himself could be a pawn that could easily get knocked over, which is what happened. He ended up going a little too far in and he got his ass kicked by Neela because he didn't even think that someone would take advantage of his plan.
Yeah, and like I said, I don't know, man. I just stand by this idea that he's one of those villains. Like his plan, like here's the thing, like his plan right off the bat. If it was just his plan and he actually lived up to the hype, he'd be like an S tier because his plan's not bad. It's
Yeah.
just A, everything needed to go right, and B, he kind of just again, if Sly didn't do exactly everything he told him to do or wanted him to do, his plan would have failed. That's the main
Mm-hmm.
thing. And I guess you could boil that down to like comic book or video game logic. Oh, of course it's gonna happen, but like at the same time, like yeah, he also just didn't really have an impact beyond. Oh yeah, um, I'm the mastermind behind everything, and then I die, and that's just that's just anticlimactic. I'm sorry. So he does. The only reason he's in C tier is because his plan actually wasn't that bad, but everything else about him is just not up to par. I'm sorry, it's
Yeah.
just not.
I can agree to that. That makes sense. Yeah.
Speaking of which, let's get to Neela.
Okay, so
Um,
I
uh,
kind of want to throw in my hat into the ring first. Personally,
yeah, go ahead.
I I really like her and the idea of her cuz like she is design wise this foil to both the Cooper gang and the Claw gang where her headdress matches the color scheme of the Claw gang. Visually, she's supposed to represent like this ability to go on either side of the law whenever it's convenient for her. And I'm not sure if this is an agreed opinion anywhere else, but she pretty much is like the main antagonist if you think about it. Like she plays the role of an
Oh,
underling,
she is like
but
objectively.
then but she flat out just steals the carpet from everyone in ways that completely benefit her. And I'm really intoxicated by this idea of her. And like There's actually this detail in the
Oh no,
game
he's
where Murray
simping.
brings up that
Guys, he's simping. No, that's what you
no,
want.
no,
Stop.
I swear it's not just simping. It's not just simping, I swear.
So you
Um,
admit simping's a part of it.
how dare you? No, I will not. Anyway, but like there's also this detail that even Murray brings up of how Neela got promoted to captain, which I'll admit I think this is partly just me overthinking it, but I think it's kind of like this underlining thought of her that her main goal is ultimately to be above everyone else. Like she wants to be at the top because he likes taking advantage of other people. That's her whole point. She loves taking advantage of other people because she gets so much from it. I think she's easily A tier character from that, but the only reason why she will have a lot of drawback is because of how the game executes a lot of those ideas, being that they're kind of mixed. Like at certain points, it's cool, it's clever, it's stylish, and then at certain points, it's clockla. Like it's kind of like
Here's the thing. I will say this. Um, if the main problem I have with Neela is I think she would have been just as good as the Contessa. The only problem is that about near the end of the game where she has this weird god complex that kind of comes out of nowhere. And I
yeah,
think that's what makes her go. Because like if she stayed like the whole I'm a morally dubious police officer, going behind the scenes and doing whatever I can to just basically make sure that I end up ahead, that would have been fine. But like the
yeah,
whole god complex, I am Clockla, I am immortal thing, that comes out of fucking nowhere. I'm sorry, it comes out of nowhere, and it really doesn't fit what the character set up to be. It would have been interesting if like I don't know if Clockwork came back to life, but was under Neela's command or something like that, or like some or like oh they team up like she teams up with Clockwork, or if it's like not quite Clockwork, but she has control of it or something like that. There's a middle ground there, but like having her just to have a straight up god complex that kind of comes out of nowhere. Not to mention, I'm sorry, even as a kid, I played this game as a kid. I knew she was secretly a bad guy. It's so painfully obvious. I hate to like skim points for being predictable, but I skim points for being predictable or whatever. But like, yeah, it's very clear as day that she was the bad guy. Like,
yeah.
it's
No,
very clear she was a bad guy.
yeah.
Um,
I definitely do agree with that. I definitely wasn't gonna like. Yeah, it is pretty obvious that she was gonna be a double agent, but like. I have this personal thing about predictability. Like being predictable doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. It just means you know that it's coming. But in Neela's case, it kind of serves as underwhelming, especially like with what you said with the god complex, because it really felt like they kind of rushed the parts of the ending, and I think Neela's character took a toll because of that rush.
yeah, and then they tried to like build up this whole thing where like, oh, she's like Arpeggio's protege or whatever and stuff like that. I'm like, okay. Like again, this is a character that's barely been fleshed out now. Suddenly, oh, she's a big part of it. Like like everything about the last act of Sly 2 would have been a perfect game if the last act didn't feel so goddamn rushed. Like that's my
Yeah,
main problem. So much of the last act of Sly 2. Because like, look, we already have some great villains from Sly 2 up here. Like
yeah,
there's some great villains from Sly 2 up here. But like this last act just really fumbled. And again, I like the idea of Neela being the real like main antagonist, but like the whole Clockla thing and like God complex immortal thing kind of comes out of nowhere and kind of contradicts her character at this point. Because again, from the vibe I got from Neela is she just wanted to basically again very similar to the Contessa, where she just wanted to basically make sure she got up ahead. So like
yeah,
this idea, like she would be like in charge of like and she'd be in charge of Interpol and like being able to control like having her be in charge of both Interpol and the criminal underworld at the same time, that'd be a great motivation. It's like, yeah, I don't
Mm-hmm.
care. I'll bring back Clockwork. I'll bring back Clockwork just to get rid of Sly Cooper. And once Sly's out of the way, I'll take over as the greatest thief in the world while also being the captain. I will take over Interpol from Carmelita, and I'll take being a thief from Sly. That would have been perfect motivation. Would have been a perfect wrap on the bow for a character arc, and you could have had you used them more in later games if you'd allow it. But like,
Yep.
yeah, like the last bit just came out of nowhere. It came out of nowhere, and it kind of, in my opinion, bumps her down a bit. And I'm not gonna
Mm-hmm.
put her in C tier, but I think B tier is fair, at least
Yeah,
for
B
her.
tier.
She's an appropriate threat,
Yeah,
and
I
she's a
do
great
agree.
villain up until the last act.
Had the last act, I think, been spread out to maybe a double chapter to better flesh out her character some more, or maybe they just ditched the god complex thing, I think she definitely would have been higher. But because of that last chapter, cramming so much in at the last second, that feels out of character. You are definitely right for putting her in the B tier, unfortunately, which great character, meh execution at the end. They fumbled it.
Yeah, they fumbled the bag. They fumbled the bag. You look backstory in Sly 2 manual, yeah, where she basically like cheats her way into university and like makes like a homework ring. Again, could have been interesting. It didn't really go anywhere.
Do we want to do a Sly 3
Okay.
villain?
Sly 3 villain. Let's do Don Octavio.
Yes, I was just eyeballing him.
Don Octavio's a, Don Octavio's entertaining and likable.
Yes.
Um, and again, just a prick for. I'm putting him in B tier above Grizz.
Good. Yes.
I'm putting him. I'm putting him there. He's like, again. I can't really say a whole lot about him, but I do remember him. That's the important part. I can't say a lot about him as a villain, but I do remember him, and that's the important part. I've been saving the more interesting characters for last, so we can like spend the rest of the stream like talking about them. I hope you
Yeah.
don't mind. So I'm sorry. I gotta give Lafui like I gotta give Lafui D tier. Like
Yeah.
I forget he exists sometimes. I do. I genuinely forget he exists. He kind of just shows up, does some shit, and then leaves.
No, but that's literally
He's
what
not
he
that funny. He's
does.
not that
He,
memorable.
they don't even introduce
Like
him in
the
the
highlight.
chapter's opening.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, we gotta go meet Dimitri. It's like, oh yeah, by the way, there's a pirate with my scuba gear. Like what? Like wait a minute, what? You got slow down. Wait a minute. Like the only good part of that arc was like, oh yeah, Sly and Penelope got some chemistry moments. Rajan Lobi. Again, he's just kind of there.
Yeah.
He's kind of just there. A decent villain, but just kind of there.
I do actually want to bring up something interesting about both Rajan and Don Octavio if you got the time.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so one thing that I really like about both these characters isn't necessarily themselves, but it's actually what they have to do with Murray. So, like, one thing I really like is the choice in antagonists. They're both felines. Felines themselves are animals generally associated with high society or even godhood, given certain mythos and even just like societal upbringings. Like, you think of a cat and you think of like a rich person and affording that. Like, they're just so lavish. And then like my point is with both of these characters, they're all about identity and high society. With Rajan, he wants to pretend that he came from royalty and doesn't want to admit that he's actually a poor pissant street peasant. With Don Octavio, he was at the height of Italian society, but then got brought down to the mafia side of it after the whole world forgot about him in favor of rock and roll. And what I like about this is both of which are characters that suffer an identity crisis, which reflect off of Murray, but in different ways. And I really like that. With Rajan, he reflects more of the insecurities that Murray has with him, with his own identity. Murray, obviously, about his identity as a character in his team where he doesn't know what else he could bring to the table, but he knows that he's strong. Whereas Rajan is putting on a facade that he's from royalty, but he's not. And then Don Octavio, who is stuck in the past and wants revenge on everyone in Italy for forgetting about him. Whereas Murray, by that point, wants to move on from the past and doesn't ever want to go back to living in those times. Like both characters, regardless of somewhat meh opinion on Rajan, I think both characters are great for the character development they have to offer with Murray, especially. Like, I really enjoy that about both of them.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Um, what was I to say? I can't think. I can't think today. Um, Miss Decibel. I find it weird that she like has no clothes. Like, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
that's a little weird to me. I don't know. And she's like standing on two legs. Uh, it's kind of weird because like again, you could argue like Miss Ruby's the same way, and it is kind of weird. Like some of these characters are like completely anthropomorphic, while the other ones are just straight up animals. It's a little inconsistent. Now that I think about it, it's a little inconsistent. But I'm
Yeah.
not gonna argue semantics right now. It's a little inconsistent. That's all I'm gonna say. Um, I will say, Decimal is again C. Like I can't put her anywhere else. I'm sorry. Like her backstory's mid. Her everything about her is mid. The only thing that's kind of interesting is like apparently she and like Le Paradox had a thing, and that's it. That's all I can think about.
Now that
Like
I
I can
think of
boil almost every antagonist. I can boil it down to one trait about each of them. She's like Le Paradox's girlfriend. He likes to smoke cigars, I guess. He likes guns. He likes to rap and is a racial caricature. But like outside of that, like yeah, they don't really have a lot going on for them compared to the
yeah.
various villains. Because again, like Slide 3 has some stinkers, Slide 2 has some stinkers, but
Yeah.
they make up for it like up here. You know what I mean? They make up for
Yeah.
it. Um, but yeah, I don't know. Speaking of thieves in time, let's get these two out of the way. We've been
Yeah.
holding it off too long. All right. Paradox
Come
likes some thick.
I think we
Plus,
should
we
start
in D
with
tier.
her.
Like edgy. We forgot he existed. Let's be real.
Yeah.
We kind of forgot he existed for a while. Like you know how little we actually remember this character. Like I looked him up. There's like only one like actual PNG of this character on the entire internet.
It's
Apparently,
literally the one that he used. That's the only image there is of him. That's it.
like official image anyway. Why isn't Neela's backstory in the game itself? Because again, kind of rushed at the end. Oof. Yeah, edgy. Oof. Paradox like some thick. No, stop. Like Sally from Sonic. I don't know what you mean. Um, but yeah. La Paradox.
Oh boy.
Okay. Look. Okay. Here's the thing. La Paradox is D tier, and and for one reason, like for so many reasons. Let's start off with the most obvious. His plan actually made a lot of sense. Build a
Yeah.
time machine, go back in time, place historical relics in certain places where you could dig them up and claim that you found them and make money off of them. Well, the best
Exactly.
part is I don't even think that's technically illegal. I don't even think that's technically illegal. Would you consider that illegal?
No,
Would
I
you consider that
wouldn't.
illegal?
No.
Yeah,
Never.
okay, so it's a great plan or whatever. And here's the thing, again, Sly himself points this out. Nigga, you had the perfect scam, and you threw it all away because I found out about my family's canes, literally erasing my history. If you didn't do that, I wouldn't have found out about this. Okay, so you think, oh, La Paradox has a good reason to hate Sly Cooper or whatever, and his
Nope.
backstory is so fucking dumb. It is so dumb that I was shocked. I was left. I swear to God, when I first I played this game when I was 17. So I swear to God, when I first played this game, it was on my uncle's PS4. Sly 3 is rushed. They made the game in a year. I mean, Sly 3 flows better than Sly 2, but at least
Yeah.
near the end anyway. Um, but like, bro, unironically, they pretty much said, "Oh yeah, here's my backstory. My dad, I also come from a long line of thieves, and my dad was gonna steal the world's largest diamond and frame your dad, Sly Cooper, man. And after that happened, your dad ended up stealing the diamond, and my dad got caught anyway. And because of that, I didn't learn the family business properly. I ended up going to jail, where I ended up learning to be a thief anyway. So why would I be upset about anything?" Okay. And so he dedicated so much of his time and effort into building this time machine and making this hustle to become rich and famous beyond his wildest beliefs. And then at the end of the day, he he used that money and wealth just to screw over Sly's family because of that one incident that ultimately doesn't matter. Wow, that's really fucking dumb. That is dumb. My God. My
It's
God, that is dumb.
it's
Fanfic
so
backstory.
stupid.
Like I said,
What's funny is he has absolutely
Paradox is his own tier of bad, yeah.
yeah. What's funny is he has absolutely no reason to be mad at Sly. Cause Sly's dad didn't even fuck over his dad. His own dad was just too fucking stupid and slow to get to the diamond first. That's what the cutscene
And even then,
itself showed off.
it's implied that Paradox knew that his dad was gonna frame Sly's dad anyway.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like it was like, oh, a moment of opportunity. It's like, no, nigga, you got caught. That's it. And even then, after that, you still learned the way to be a thief anyway, and you still got millions of dollars and shit. Like, why do you hate Sly so much? Especially when you don't even. How did you like? Like, why would you have no reason to have a personal beef with Sly. There's no reason for it to exist. There's none. There's none.
So
There's no reason for this to exist.
So I also want to expand on this a little bit too. I want to talk about just Cyril's name, Cyril the Paradox. So here's the thing: he has no actual merit as a main antagonist if you think about it. One, his time travel plot only happens because Penelope brings him the time machine. So this plan of his only started because someone else brought him the idea and basically gave him that idea. Two, Le Paradox is such an on-the-nose point that it's only there to really tell you that he's the main and bad guy because it's a time travel story. So, like, and I know we're going to get to him, but, like, I want to cover her Clockwork and Dr. M just really quick. So, Clockwork, that name, as an entire, it has merit. Clockwork himself is a metal shell of his former self. Whatever real life organic part of Clockwork existed at some point is now gone, and it was replaced by that immortal metal shell of his. Clockwork, on the name alone, has merit to it. Dr. M. Dr. M, and we're gonna talk about him later, but this is just real quick. Dr. M has merit as an antagonist despite being a giant reference. Dr. M is a reference to a fictional scientist by the name of Dr. Moreau and his island of monsters. See, in the story of Dr.
Yeah, I
Moreau,
know about that.
right. So like just to briefly summarize for everyone else who probably doesn't, but Dr. Moreau made a bunch of human animal hybrids. Dr. M does essentially exactly that, and the whole point of that is to showcase just how fucking batshit he's gone. So Dr. M, despite being a reference, also has merit to his name being Dr. M. So it's like they're not just little clever puns or metaphors for their characters, but they actually make sense. Cyril, on the other hand, he doesn't have any actual merit as a big time main antagonist. He's just a moron who got lucky, essentially, that he even became a great thief while in jail. And he got lucky that Penelope came to him with the fucking plans for the time machine. Cyril is flat out a moron because the game calls him a moron, and they didn't and they couldn't think of anything to give this guy at least some merit.
And to be fair, say what you will about Arpeggio, but at least like they quickly made it clear, oh yeah, he was being played by Neela, and she usurped him very quickly. Here, like the Paradox doesn't have an excuse. Like he doesn't have an excuse. There's no one there to take his place or whatever for the actual antagonist. You know, it would have been really cool if it turned out that the whole thing was orchestrated by Clockwork.
Exactly.
Yeah, like I said, yeah, if he was like a lackey for Clockwork, that would have been more interesting. Like, oh yeah, I wanted to take out all the Coopers throughout numerous. Have you ever seen the TV special TMNT Turtles Forever?
Yes.
Um, basically like doing what Shirel did. Like, yeah, I'm going to wipe out the multiverse just to make sure the turtles don't exist. Every universe where the turtles don't exist, turtles exist. I will wipe it out. That's basically what they could have had him do.
Yeah.
Um. Yeah, and I'm like, yeah, and he's like, yeah, like someone pointed out, like, yeah, Sly's dad is dead too. So yeah, there's no real point to this. You know, Sly's dad is dead. Like hell, even worse yet, Sly was retired. Sly was
Yeah.
retired. He wouldn't have gotten your way if you just didn't mess with his canes. This is dumb. This is dumb. My God. Um. Yeah, it's just so dumb. Like everything about the Paradox is dumb. His design is dumb. His characterization is dumb. His boss fight is a QTE because go fuck yourself. And at the end
It's
of the day,
easily,
his motivation, backstory, everything doesn't work. Nothing works with this main. That's the worst part about like Thieves in Time. The Paradox is like Penelope's coming up. She's a close second, but like the Paradox is the worst aspect of Thieves in Time. Like I've never seen a worse final boss for a video game. Like
I
genuinely.
also I also want to throw in the fact that Cyril is clearly so much older than Sly. It actually doesn't make any sense to me that Cyril's dad somehow went up against Sly's dad, considering Cyril looks ancient in comparison to Sly. Like, if anything, it would actually make more sense if Cyril was the one that got thrown in jail because of Sly's dad, and he was just being a petty bitch about it the entire time. But throwing in his father
Yeah, that would
makes
at least.
like it just makes things weird now. Like now you got his father and his father. He's mad at his father, even though he literally has no personal stakes in this, and he decided to involve himself because he's a fucking moron.
Yeah, and like that actually would have made it a lot better. Maybe it could have been
Right?
like, oh yeah, I was. And again, it would have given him more direct connection to Sly because like all the main antagonists for the Sly Cooper games have direct connection to Sly and Sly's father to an extent.
Yeah.
Clocklet to an extent, it's like that, and like again, Dr. M. And like, yeah, it would have made more sense if he was like a rival to Sly and like a rival to Sly's father, and maybe he could have expanded on what Dr. M implied in Sly 3, where it's like, yeah, um, like yeah, the Sly, what if what if he was like a situation where Sly's father did set him up and put him in prison a long time ago? What if it was
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, your father put me away for years, decades, and I've been plotting my revenge because I wanted to prove that the Sly Cooper bloodline wasn't as noble as you thought it was. That would have fixed so many things. Holy shit! I made that up
Exactly.
on the spot. That fixes so much. That fixes so much. Sly's mom is also dead. Yeah, they don't. It's a lot like a Disney film. They don't bring up the mom as much.
The mom's just always dead.
All we Yeah, I think the only other mom we see is Bentley's mom.
Which is
Apparently,
really
he
weird.
knew her before he was adopted.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, like you could be an orphan and your parents died. And you have a picture of them. That's okay, I guess.
Yeah,
It's not
that's fair.
unreasonable. I mean, I'm pretty sure Sly. It probably didn't see him, but Sly probably has a picture of his parents too.
Yeah,
Um,
that's true.
I've never seen a worse final boss. Maybe it's difference in personal experience, but I wouldn't quite go that far. I mean, it's like disappointing, and there's a disappointment. Yeah, it's a real shame Thieves in Time just chose not to build up anything on Sly 3's. Yeah, it really
They just
just said, yeah, this is a fanfic adventure. That's what it is.
I
Is Sly's
really
mom a fox? I don't know. I don't know how interbreeding works in this world.
I think that she'd be a raccoon, not like in the weird sense, but like just to visually keep up with things. That just makes sense to me personally.
we see her. We see her feet in the photo,
She got them
and
raccoon
her feet
feet.
looked a lot. I guess I don't know. I don't know how. I could a raccoon mate with the no? Because like raccoons are basically badgers.
Yeah,
Raccoons are basically badgers, not really foxes or
there was a
canines. Anything
pic
like
of
that.
Sly's
I don't know,
pants.
man.
Looks like a fox. I
Yeah,
don't
we
know.
know. I know that. I just can't tell. I really can't tell honestly. Like unless you saw like her tail or something, I really can't tell. But
I think
yeah, La Paradox is just really bad. There's really nothing more to say because there's not much of there to say. He's just bad. There's no other.
he's a fucking idiot. He has no merit to himself, and he's genuinely a moron. Nothing. There's nothing positive to really say about him. He's just a fucking mess.
Like you can't even say like, oh, at least he was like a decent threat like these other ones who were like no, because again,
No,
his fight was basically a QTE. Oh,
wasn't
you
even a
know what would
good
have been so cool? You know what would have been so cool actually? If like
what?
the boss fight for him again, keeping with like the idea of like, oh, he's basically like a dark reflection of Sly or the Coopers or whatever. What if you had to like unlike other boss fights where it's like a bunch of platforming and shit? What if you had to fight him the very same way that Sly fights his enemies? Like he sneaks up on you and you got to figure out where he is and make sure
That
he
would
doesn't
have
get the jump on you.
that would have been so much better, and it would have been so much easier to work with. Like at least then it would have been exciting. It would have been like fun trying to figure out where he's going to come from. But that's too much for
But
Sansry to think about. Huh.
all right, let's get the other painful villain out of the way for space and time.
Ugh.
None other
Pen-
than Penelope. Oh
is there an
boy.
F tier?
Okay. And the reason I picked, you know what? Actually, let's
Yeah, let's make that F tier possible, and then just throw her and maybe uh some things down there. Yeah.
add row below. Uh, I'm just gonna
Bullshit. I
yeah.
agree.
Let's just yeah
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. Okay, so like the thing I've talked about this before, but like the main reason like people this is like the main thing everyone talks about Thieves in Time. If you're a Sly Cooper fan, everyone in Thieves in Time talks about this. Um, nah, yeah, that legit almost made me quit the game. Yeah, this is beyond characterization. That is mutilation. Yeah, yeah, like, and the worst part is all of this was done for a cheap twist. A cheap
Yep.
twist everyone saw coming. That's the worst part. Everything else, I'm not against the idea of making Penelope a villain. I'm not. I'm not against the idea because she was already kind of morally dubious in like Sly 3. She had like the disguise and everything, and that's kind of a decent callback to that. Actually, I'm not gonna lie
Yeah.
to you, but everything about what like we had literally an entire conversation, an entire arc in like the pirate level of Sly 3. And I probably sound like a crazy person to someone who just drops in. But we had like an entire arc in Sly 3 where she literally breaks down how she feels about Sly and the entire gang and builds up her relationship with the mutual respect for Sly between Bentley and Penelope is genuinely what starts the relationship. And then you're gonna come here and tell me oh yeah, she always hated Sly. She always hated Sly. She always thought he was holding Bentley back and all that shit. And I'm like no, because at the end it doesn't make any sense. Literally everything she does doesn't make any sense. Like say what you will about Le Paradox, he's just a fucking idiot. Le Paradox is just
Yeah.
fucking stupid, and they try to make him seem like a threat, like when he's not. Penelope's just motivations don't make any goddamn sense. They just don't. That's the worst part. Her motivations don't make any sense. So, like, first of all, she's like, okay, I decided to betray Bentley and the others. I can't even think of a reason. I don't think she gave a reason, a tangible
No.
one
Okay,
anyway. They
so
didn't. They kind of
I
just
can
shrugged.
fill that in real quick. I can fill in her reasons. So
I was
here's her reason.
hang on. I was genuinely confused as to why they chose to do this. Like on paper, the idea of someone being a rival to Bentley is pretty interesting, but why would they make Penelope that character? I mean, like again, it was a cheap twist, Edgy. I don't know what else to tell you.
Yeah, so like I have all of her reasons for why she did it down here. So first reason
Oh
being that
yeah, so like
Sly's a thief. You know, that's more than enough reason to go up against him, even though the whole point is that he steals from other thieves, not from innocent people. So she immediately has that wrong. Also, she's also technically a thief because she stole the Aces competition for years, possibly. Other reason being for money. You know, the very thing that Sly gave to his friends and even his enemies by the end of the third game. Because she wants to make
no,
billions.
here's the crazy part though. Like if you go off Sly 3 and they had access to the Cooper Vault along with all the stuff they stole over the years, you
Yeah,
guys were loaded. You guys
yeah.
were set for life. Like, what the fuck are you talking? You guys were set for life. What the fuck are you talking about? And even then, you got to understand, when it came to Sly, it was never really about the money.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, Sly was a bit of a kleptomaniac, but it was never really about the money. It was about the challenge. He liked being challenged. And once he realized that, oh, yeah, I had pretty much achieved everything I needed to do as a master thief and made my legacy on the Thievius Raccoonus, I kind of want to retire. And, like, they retired relatively young, too. So it's like, yeah, like, what do you mean, Sly? What do you mean, Sly? You wanted money? You guys had plenty of money. You guys had a fucking lab. You guys had enough money to make a time machine. What the fuck do you mean you need more money? What do you fucking mean we need more money? Are you out of your mind? You guys are fine. Not to mention, then she says like, "Oh yeah, we could have sold millions on the black weapons on the black market for our weapons and shit." I'm like, "You're not a weapon specialist anyway. You're an RC technician." Like what? That doesn't even make any sense for your character because you were never interested in like making weapons. That was never your forte. That came out of fucking nowhere. And then finally she goes on a whole spiel about like, oh yeah, the paradox is a means to an end. I'm like, okay, but what is your ends though? Because as far so like, are you saying you want to do more research? You had plenty of money to do the research. Are you saying you wanted to use the paradox to get more money? Are you going to use paradox to get more resources? Pretty sure you could have got the resources without resorting to this. And even then, what you're actually trying to achieve is left so unbelievably vague that I don't really understand the point. It's just so dupe. It's just so stupid. It is so unbelievably stupid. I'm sorry.
It's not. I can't even really say it's character assassination. This is just straight up like beating the shit out of it till it's not even recognizable. Like at least with an assassination, you could still tell the body who it belonged to. But this is it's so out of character. It's so ignorant on everything that came before. This isn't even Penelope. This is like her evil doppelganger from the negative zone.
Yeah, like and then there's like the whole thing where and you know the worst part is I wouldn't have minded this twist actually if it wasn't for one thing. If it wasn't for one thing, and I wouldn't have minded this twist. You want to know what that was? The fact that you fleshed her out so much in Sly 3 and made her relationship with Bentley seem so believable. If you didn't do that, I wouldn't mind, but they did.
Yep.
That's the main problem. If you didn't build up that because that's the reason why people liked her. Remember in Sly 3 where she like if you didn't like Sly or Murray or any of the Cooper gang, why did you go so far to your way to save them in Sly 3?
Exactly.
Like why did you go so far to your way to get the van out of the ice when that was a complete hindrance on your mission, but it mattered so much to Murray. Remember at the end of Sly 3 where and this is a really good moment too. Remember at the end of Sly 3 where where uh where Sly's being crushed by the monster or whatever, and he's having trouble and Bentley's trying to save him or whatever.
Yep.
Remember that scene where like the Cooper gang doesn't know what to do, and then and like uh and like Penelope steps up, and it's kind of implies that yeah, when when Bentley and Sly are around, she's basically the one in charge. Remember how they kind of like set her up like, oh yeah, she might be like the new like mission control now that Bentley's more active in the field. Remember how she kind of took up that role?
Oh, it was
Like
so
yeah,
good.
it was like a really like it was so good. Like yeah, again they put so much they put deliberate effort into that, and that's why so many people like Penelope. They were like yeah, make her a permanent part of the Cooper gang. We like her, and like yeah, just like no, fuck you. Cheap twist. I was like, oh my god, that's so stupid. It's so stupid. It's so stupid. There's nothing you can do to justify it. It's so dumb. It's so dumb. Oh my god. The only
Well, luckily,
here's the thing: if Sucker Punch does get Sly back and they decide to make another game, either A, just say, oh yeah, by the way, this is the actual Sly 4. Decent time isn't canon. They
yes,
can just do that, or they can just do like, oh yeah, if I hope they bring Penelope back like as an actual thing, like oh yeah, but this will also make things more confusing. Like oh yeah, it's like an alternate timeline Penelope, which again I hate when comic book shit does that, but like still, it's better than the alternative.
it really
It's better
is.
than the alternative.
Man,
Oh
this
man, that's
is a fucking train wreck. Well, at least it looks like they're
yeah.
gonna hit on a solid high note of a character, at least.
Oh yeah, because believe it or not, folks, Sony owns the rights, not Sucker. I know, but like I saw talking about like if Sucker Punch gets a hold of the IP again because they gave it to Senzuri Games, and now Senzuri said they're not going to do even though they left it on a cliffhanger. They said they're not going to do another Sly Cooper game, so it's kind of like an IP limbo right now. And like Sucker Punch has been very, very open about wanting to do another Sly Cooper game. And like I talked about this like Ghost of Tsushima. There's two pretty big Easter eggs to Sly Cooper in Ghost of Tsushima. That's how much Sucker Punch still loves the franchise.
Mm-hmm.
One of actually, let me go see it real quick. So I'm gonna DM this to you actually. Actually,
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it on my phone. I'm gonna DM this to you. There's like two Easter eggs to this. Hang on. One is like an outfit,
Okay, I knew
and
about that.
the outfit one.
Yeah, the outfit one I knew about, but
Yeah,
I still accept it. It's so good.
and then they have like two paintings. Here's one
Oh,
of them, and one of them's like a traditional one of them is like a traditional like a Japanese art painting or whatever, and the other one's like a cave painting. And
oh,
again, there
that
it's like a really awesome Easter egg. Hang on, let me show you.
are you DMing through Discord or Twitter?
Discord. Hang on one second.
Okay.
So here's the first one. Here's the first Easter egg.
Oh, oh, I like that. Oh, I like the little pouch of coins. Oh, and there's the turtle and the hippo. Oh, oh, the branch. That's such a
And
cool visual. Oh, that's so
yeah, it's in the
cool.
shape of a cane.
Oh, I
And
love that.
here's a more blatant. This is a more blatant Easter egg.
Oh my god, Bentley looks amazing. Sly just straight up looks like Rocket, though. That's an insane caricature right there. Murray, Murray is beautiful. Murray's just straight up a gorgeous
Yeah,
specimen.
and they even incorporated the wheelchair like he's riding like he's like a wagon. That's great.
Yeah, they do also do that in Infamous too. They did it. I know they did it in 2 and in Second Son. The first game I don't remember. I think there's a Cooper emblem on Cole's backpack, but yeah, there are some really nice Easter eggs, especially in Second Son. Like Panda King's Chinese food. There's the graffiti on the kids' playground, and then there's Cooper and McGrath Insurance, I believe is what it's called. But yeah, just all fantastic Easter
Uh,
eggs and just a ton of love.
yeah, there's like a Sly Cooper logo, like in neon. Cooper and McGrath, yeah. And
And then
and there's like a more subtle. There's one in like I'm looking at it right now. There's one in like the playground where it's a bunch of raccoons as robbers. On the painting on the wall. It's
and then,
got like there's also like a news update thing. It says Sly Cooper arrested for robbery. Actually, let me show you this. Actually, it's like again, Sucker Punch really loves Sly Cooper, and I'm glad they do. I like you got like places like you got people like Ubisoft and like fucking Naughty Dog like Smash Brandy's cooch or whatever.
yeah,
Like, oh, it's supposed to be Smash Bandicoot. Like, yeah, that's kind of stupid. But then you have shit like this in Infamous Second Son. Look at this. This is a cool Easter egg to Sly Cooper, and I love it. It's great.
it
It's
it's
great.
just so adorable. It's so kind-hearted. It's so lovely. Oh, I love each one of them just represents that part of Sly, that curiosity, that quirkiness, that charm. Oh, he's even got the little hat on. Oh, it's so adorable.
Oh, there's okay. There's one more actually. There's one more that's also pretty cool. Um, and right next to that picture is these guys.
Yes, that's the graffiti I was thinking about. Oh, I love it. Oh, look at Bentley. Murray is just a giant pink egg. I
Yeah, a
love that.
cameo in. Also, Sly has a cameo in Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. If you use the Rhino, there's a chance Sly and the Cooper van show up through a dimensional
That's
rift. Yeah, like say what you will about Sony, they do seem to like have like despite Sly Cooper basically not getting a new game in like over a decade, they still do seem to have some love for him, and I'm glad to hear. I'm glad to hear it. Actually, I'm glad.
I have a personal
Sly
theory
Cooper
that
deserves to be remembered.
yeah, I have a personal theory on why they don't bring it back aside from obviously the Sanzuru game, but I think it might also be partly Sony themselves feeling responsible because I think we all remember that Sony wanted primarily a PS Vita game and Sanzuru somehow convinced them to make a PS3 game. But because of like the shared limitations of both consoles combined with the sooner release date of the PS4, like the whole thing just ended up being such a shit show in development that they wasted too much time and too much money on it that they were like, yeah, no, we're not going to take this chance anymore with this game again. I think they're just like I don't think we're ever going to get another Sly Cooper game, but if we do, I think it's just because they want that whole thing to just die down eventually and be like, okay, let's pretend that didn't happen and try again.
Ratchet and Clank and Jack and Daxter Villains X video. I didn't play the Ratchet and Clank games. I only played A Crack in Time, and to be fair, that was a really fun game.
Yeah.
Um, but I'll see what I can do. I did play all the Jack and Daxter games though. Those were fun. Jack and Daxter was great. Um, yeah, Jack and Daxter was pretty good. Slime remakes, maybe. Yeah, that'd be great. Honestly, like I said earlier in the stream, that'd be fun. That'd be really great. Because let's be real, the graphics haven't aged well.
Yeah,
Let's
no.
be honest.
That's an agreeable
It
part.
could use a facelift, you know.
Yeah.
Um, you've never played Ratchet and Clank. I played A Crack in Time, okay, and like it was a pretty fun game, but I didn't really play the other ones because I didn't like grow up with them. I guess I played everything else though. I played God of War. I played Jack and Daxter. I played Sly Cooper. I played all the other ones. Don't worry. It's just something I never got around to, you know. But from what I did play, it's a really good game series. Pretty good games. Rift Apart, like not Rift Apart. Crack in Time was a really fun game. But anyway, back to Dr. M. Sorry.
Yeah.
Dr. M. Dr. M, like, here's the thing. Dr. M might be one of the most important characters in the entire series for one reason and one reason alone. Because at the end of the day, Dr. M was the first person to actually question Sly and make him think about everything he's done up to this point. Because think about it. Say what you will about Clockwork. He's an ominous, overlooming threat. Dr. M is pretty much the manifestation of, oh yeah, do you really think all the Coopers were that noble? Are you really gonna sit here and tell? Because like he knew Sly's dad, mind you, and he's like, oh yeah, your dad was a piece of shit. He took all the credit. He stole everything. He stole the money we made together. And he actually made Sly think, because he said, hey. And here's the thing though, Dr. M was kind of spitting though when he said, oh yeah, who should I ask? Should I ask you or should I ask your actual leader, Bentley? And he's like, and once you think about it, wait a minute. Bentley is low-key the leader of the Cooper gang. Wait a minute, Bentley really is the leader of the Cooper gang, though. He's the one who comes with all the plans. And yeah, Sly's got the charisma, and like he does the footwork, but it's ultimately Bentley's plans. Once you think about it.
Yep.
And then he pointed out later, like, oh yeah, he's like, and like Sly's like, oh, I'm not egotistical, like, bro, you call yourself the Cooper gang, like, and you leave your calling card and you're and basically the reason all your friends are risking their lives is for you. So like, are you really sure you're not being selfish, my guy? Are you really gonna say you're not selfish? So, like, he brought up a very valid point against Sly, and we all know that Sly's a good guy at heart. He's noble and all that stuff, but he does bring up a good point. Like, yeah, maybe the Coopers aren't as noble as they may seem or whatever. And again, it brings in Sly's dad in a new light. Like, oh yeah, he's the guy that Sly idolized and like pretty much inspired him to primarily be a thief. And he's like, oh yeah, your dad kind of fucked us over, dude. Your dad kind of fucked us over. And he said, like, yeah, it's implied that, like, Dr. M was, like, in the same boat as, like, Bentley back in his heyday. He could have, like, basically said, oh, yeah, I was basically implying, like, oh, yeah, Bentley, me and you are the same. He did the whole, like, we're the same, you and I, but it worked because it was cool. But, like, he was like, yeah, we're similar. And it's like, yeah, it really made you question everything you thought about Sly and his entire family and everything like that. And like, it wasn't like, oh, he may have gotten his dad killed. No, it's confirmed. Like, he told Clockwork where his dad was. Why he didn't tell Clockwork to at least bring him back the cane, I don't know, but it's whatever. Also, Dr. M is played by Rick May, the voice of Soldier from TF2. So,
as if he couldn't be.
So there you go. I'm going to give Dr. M
drum roll
an astounding S tier simply because he makes you. Dude, are you okay?
Oh yeah, no, I'm just giving a drum roll with my fingers. I thought that was getting audible.
I thought you were breaking up or something. Yeah, he literally said, "Oh yeah, by the way, you think it was coincidence that Clockwork found you? No, I told him where you were. I told him where your dad was."
Yep.
Yep, he's technically responsible for everything that happened. All because he was like driven mad by the fact that he couldn't live up to to basically the Cooper family legacy. And even then, you gotta wonder, did Dr. M have a point? And that's what makes this such a good villain, because he actually makes you think about it. Yeah, he told him, yes, Clockwork came to me to figure out where your dad was. I told him where your dad was. He explicitly said that in the game. He is directly responsible for like Sly's father's death. Because he told Clockwork where he was. Yeah, hang on, let me find like the fucking thing where he says it. Because I swear he definitely says it. Where the fuck is it? I'll find it later. But I'm pretty sure Dr. M like said, yeah, I told Clockwork where your dad was. But that's besides the point. Yeah, they set up a lot in Sly 3, and again, it got you questioning, like, again, how no, like, because that would have been an interesting take to like do Thieves in Time, like, oh yeah, it's revealed that it's implied that, oh yeah, the Cooper gang had throughout history had gangs all no wiki. I swear to God, it was on there. Let me see. I'll look for it later. I'm tired. It's late. I'm just trying to get through this. But like Sly but it's implied, like, because of what Dr. M said, and of course McSweeney and stuff. It's implied that Cooper throughout history had like gangs and members who helped them out throughout the years, but they just never wrote them down in their books. So again, that's something Dr. M questions. Hey, how come you think about it? And maybe this might have been a big reason why Bentley writing in the Thievius Raccoon is such a big deal. Sly trusts him enough to write down the history properly. He trusts him enough to say, hey, no matter what happens to me, you're going to be the one to carry on my legacy or whatever. Again, this is a really good moment to show, like, hey, Sly, at least in that aspect, was better than his forefathers, at the very least. And again, you could have done so much with that Thieves in Time. Why they didn't like team up with Sly's dad in Thieves in Time either? I will never know. That was a missed opportunity. But yeah, I don't like I. That's pretty much the tier list, guys. I don't know what else to tell you. The tier list. That is the tier list right there. Thank you. I always thought it was weird Sly's dad was not in 4. Yeah. What am I about to say? I actually did a fan fiction years ago about Sly's dad. I don't know, maybe I'll dig it up again. Anyway, thanks Wolfman for coming onto the stream.
Yeah, absolutely, man. If you want to do like another Sly Cooper tier list on the protagonists or even the chapters themselves, I'm totally down for talking about those one day.
Thank you, but I'm not that autistic. Don't push your luck.
Okay.
But anyway, I'm sorry, dude. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. I get it.
No, but like if you're officially like a member of the All Stars now, so if you ever want to be on the fucking podcast or whatever, just ask.
Yeah, totally.
You'll get a spot if there's one.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll definitely.
Oh my God! Please show us the fanfic. Good tier list. Thank you. Well, basically, I'll spend like 2 minutes talking about the fanfic. Essentially, my take is that Sly's father was indeed British, and
as he should be.
And basically, yeah, because it's heavily implied he's British, but basically he's like a James Bond-esque type character, and again, eventually he figures out how to like grind on laser beams at the end of the story. Not to mention, Dr. M kind of has a point where he's like, yeah, where like Dr. M's like, hey, how come you won't show us where the Cooper Vault is? Like, oh, this is for Coopers only. And then at one point, Dr. M, like, the reason they split up is because Dr. M looks into the Thievius Raccoonus, fucking Brit, yeah, in the Thievius Raccoonus, and it turns out after looking through it, he realizes that it's only talking about the Coopers. And all, and like he's, and like all the, and like talking about all their, and like for instance, he looks over Sly's pirate ancestor. I forgot her name. Her name escapes me. Henrietta Cooper. And it's like she said she had a whole pirate crew or whatever, but none of her pirate crew is named. She said, and then like his avian ancestor or whatever is like, oh yeah, he he was a great flyer, but he had but his mechanic is never named and stuff like that. And then he realizes that, oh yeah, the Coopers always get all the glory and the credit, while their sidekicks are well left to the sidekicks. And then Connor finds out, because he's Connor in this version, because of course he is. Connor finds out and basically tells Dr. M off, and is like, tell me where the Cooper Vault is, or you could forget about me helping you anymore. And then they split up after that. It's a thing from a long time ago. I was like 14 when I wrote it. It's long gone, but like still, it's fine. It's fine, guys. It's fine. Um, yeah. Well, I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for dropping by, guys. I hope you appreciated the tier list. Thank you, Wolfman, for being on, and I'll
Yeah,
see you guys later. My back is fucking killing me. Uh
you get some rest then, bud.
yeah, I gotta sleep on my goddamn stomach. All right, I'll
Oh,
talk to you guys later.
absolutely. Bye bye.